Oh my god, Connor, Joey, what are those amazing mugs you've got there?
Sir, I couldn't hear you over staring at my beautiful mug, the Trash Taste mug with a lid.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, is that the Trash Taste mug that you can get from trashtastemugs.com?
And there's only
bet
2
it is.
weeks left as
There's
well.
only 2 weeks left, gentlemen.
Well, I better snatch my mug now. There's only 2 weeks left at
comes-
trashtastemugs.com.
Comes with a lid.
$29.99 plus shipping, 2 weeks left, and once the 2 weeks are gone, they're gone forever. So you better go to it right now and snag it if you haven't yet.
Oh my god, I wish I just knew about trashtastemugs.com to get these mugs right now.
I'm just so grateful that I have a perfectly sized mug for any beverage of my wanting.
And it's got a lid so you can keep cold things cold and warm things warm.
Joey just explained science. Back to the episode.
Fucking love that meme.
I'm literally coming.
I just want to come.
Here we go!
Welcome to this episode of Trash Taste with me, your host Connor, and the boys Joey and Garnt.
That's
Yes,
us.
that's us.
Now-
Nice of you to be hosting the manga episode, right?
I
Connor?
was going to get into that, Garnt.
Okay.
We're all gentlemen here. We're all connoisseurs of the fine arts. We all read words.
You know the trash taste law, right?
Yeah.
You know our character development,
Yeah.
and you know the best reader of all time is obviously Connor.
That's true. I am reading. That's it.
Librarians wish they could have Connor's brain right now.
They wish they could access this fountain of knowledge.
And we thought, obviously, the best host for the manga-centric episode, which we are going to be doing today.
We don't choose hosts, Garnt. It's a rotation.
Yeah. And it just, the stars aligned. They were sending us a message. It's like, it's Connor's turn.
Connor must
do
host
the manga
this
episode.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing today.
I like how you've hosted the Dojinshi episode as well. I just realized by complete chance. And now you've also hosted the manga episode, right?
Can I say I read?
Yeah.
I'm somewhat of a reader myself. Anyway, yeah, as we've said, this is the manga episode of Trash Taste, where we're going to be discussing our favorite mangas on our favorite preferred method, which is going to be the 3x3, which you see on there.
We've talked about manga in the past in a lot
Yeah.
of different
We have,
episodes,
we
but
have.
I don't think we've actually established like what our all-time favorite manga is, or like our manga tastes, quote
Yeah,
unquote.
it's really weird because when we were thinking about what haven't we like specifically talked about on theme in an episode, and I was like, wait a minute, we've never talked about manga, and for some reason I just assumed that we already had.
Yeah.
because it feels like we have, right?
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
But like it just,
I was like, well, we did the anime one, so obviously we did the manga one
yeah,
as well, right?
right.
And of course, I'm a bit thinking. I was thinking about the fact that I wonder, because the movie one that we did recently is probably going to have a lot more variation. I feel like there must be some more overlap this time, right?
Yeah, I really don't know.
Like there's one or two where I'm like, I'm pretty sure if it's not on your list, you would put it on your list anyway.
There's at least one I know that I probably. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of limited in your. I mean,
Yeah,
you're so expansive.
I mean, I know I've probably got at least one that's
So-
the same as you. I think I might have one that's
So-
the same as Joey as well.
Here's what I realized
Yeah.
when I recently read Records of Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Is that I've only read really long-running manga.
Yeah.
I don't think I've read a single manga that had like less than 150 chapters.
I
Oh,
would
wow, okay.
actually agree with you on that. It's okay. So I realized when picking my 3x3 is that there isn't that much choice, or there isn't as much choice as there is in the anime world, right? Of like manga that really left a deep impression on me, and that's because like manga. You know, if you watch a season of anime, it actually takes less time to consume it than reading a really long-running manga series. Because if it's like a one-shot or like a one-volume kind of thing, it probably was not going to leave that deep of an effect on me.
I don't know, man. I've read a lot of one-shots that were like, man, this is dead ass better than some like 20
Yeah, like the
chapter plus like
the Death Note
shows.
Donald Trump one shot. That was good. That left an impression on me. I didn't expect to see manga Donald Trump, but
Sure that.
given a
And we saw it in the best art style
yeah,
as well.
Yeah,
give him
yeah.
a fucking fist bump to Ryuk.
Honestly, that one shot, I didn't realize
It's
how much
amazing.
I didn't realize how much I missed Death Note until I read that one shot, and I was like, "Damn, we kind of need a sequel to Death Note."
He was just
now.
playing with us. That's the worst
Yeah.
part. Is that it was like like the pro coming back and just styling on everyone and then being like, see you, by the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just being like, I could come back.
Yeah.
I could kill it.
It's like
I'm
that
just not
villain
gonna.
wrestler who just comes in, clotheslines, and then leaves.
Builds all your furniture, leaves.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, that was
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, but then I also realized making this 3x3 is that I really haven't read as much manga as I have watched anime. I mean, I'm unfortunately not the manga man. That's Probably Joey, right?
I think in your head you feel like manga is easier. Maybe because you can speak, you can read Japanese fluently. Maybe it is because you can just pick them up.
Yeah.
You can just go to the store, pay $2, get the manga, and you're good to go.
I mean, as someone called the anime man, I obviously read a lot more manga.
Yeah,
than
you
watch
read more
anime,
manga than
know,
as we all know by
go
now.
figure.
The running
Yeah.
meme. And I do think that if that was the case, I think I would probably read more.
Yeah.
But I think because of the fact that I do enjoy reading digitally. I like the ease of it. But I do find that it's a little more, I don't know, it feels harder to get into.
Yeah.
I don't know why. When
You
I'm
mean digitally?
Yeah, when I'm reading it, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's getting into it where I'm like, I don't know. Because when you see it in the store, you can pick it up, you can flick through. You're like, oh, okay.
There's no better feeling than like a physical
Right.
page turn,
Right. That's how you really get into it, right?
Yeah.
Especially with manga, because unlike normal books, you have to actually just read it. Manga, it pops right out. You can see, okay, damn, okay.
You can like look at it close by as well.
It just feels right. It feels much better.
It feels like I'm reading. You know what I mean? It really feels like I'm reading.
Yeah.
It's just something about it.
It feels more special and it feels a bit more intimate, I guess. And I guess like most of the manga that I put on my 3x3, I actually read on paper.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like, I don't know if that's a complete coincidence. Some manga I know are really good and I purposely will not read it unless it's physical copies.
Yeah.
Other manga, I kind of like, I maybe read online, and if it's like good, then I try to go out of my way to buy physical copies.
Yeah, but I mean, I like I was saying, I think that for me, at least a little bit, anime is slightly easier to consume. It really depends. I don't really understand how I consume manga.
It
I
depends
don't really get it. I like to think I understand, but I don't think I get what
It depends on the series for me, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, there are some where it's just like, I really fucking struggle to like get into the manga, but for some reason it's really easy to watch the anime and vice versa.
Yeah. Also another thing when I was picking my 3x3 is that I tried not to pick titles that already had like a big anime adaptation or something that I watched the anime and I feel like it doesn't make a difference.
You're trying to be that guy of like, I don't watch the main. I don't read the mains.
No, because
you're trying to be the artsy
for example, like I don't think there's any point me putting One Piece on my 3x3.
As good as the manga is.
Because the
I'm
manga
haunted with everyone asking me why haven't I started it yet.
Yeah, because like the manga is amazing, but I feel like with that you could either read the manga or watch the anime, and you could either have like a good experience on each. And I've already put it.
I don't think there's a single person watching Trash Taste that doesn't know what One Piece is.
Yeah, and I'm just like, do I really need to tell my Trash Taste viewers that I am a One Piece fan? Do you really need to know that?
I was in my Japanese class this morning, and it was like they made me listen to like Japanese people speak and tell them what they were saying, and I got totally thrown off in one audio clip because it was a woman talking about her dress, but it's one piece, one piece, and I was like, oh, she likes red one piece. What? I was like so thrown, and I couldn't listen to the rest of it. 'Cause I'm like, did she say One Piece? Like the anime? She was she a bit of a weird.
And it's just like the PTSD of the internet telling you.
Yeah. I was like, One Piece. I can't escape it.
Yeah, I remember like when I was first getting into One Piece, I really wanted to buy the manga volumes. Obviously, anime.
You typed One Piece.
Yeah. I typed in One Piece on eBay, and I'm just like, don't give me a fucking dress. I want the manga. Give me the manga. And I scroll down, it's just like dress. It's like, god damn it.
All right, gentlemen, it's time.
Okay.
All right, Trash Box Kun to decide it all.
All right.
Man, we got some real mileage out of this dollar.
Yeah, thanks, Nabi. You're the real MVP here.
He's my son.
4K hearing the thing.
4K Trash Box Kun. Who's going first?
All right, first up, let me get the trash bin.
All right.
There you go.
First up is Conair spelled incorrectly.
Connor.
Who did this? Someone's getting fired.
Connor.
It's an O. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm first. I think I've actually only read, coincidentally, like 9 manga.
I can probably name all 9 that you've read.
Right. Can we make a guess? Can we make a guess before you show them?
Do we want
I'm
to?
not going to confirm if you're right or wrong. You can just say.
Okay.
All right.
Well, obviously JoJo.
JoJo Part 7.
Yeah.
Berserk.
Yep. Claymore. Eyeshield 21.
Eyeshield. Gantz. That's 5.
Records Ragnarok.
No, that wouldn't be on there. There's something. What's like?
There's something else.
What's the cockroach one again?
Oh, Terra Formars.
Oh,
Terra
shit, I
Formars.
didn't put that on.
Oh, damn.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that as well. What else has he read? Vinland Saga.
Yeah, Vinland Saga.
That's 7. I can't think of any more that he's read.
Death Note, maybe?
Maybe.
Did you read Death Note or watch it?
I think he watched it.
Okay, well,
he watched it.
You know what?
All right, we got.
You're
seven.
gonna kick yourself when you missed one that you're gonna be like, of course.
I know there's one that's like very
Yeah.
obviously we missed.
All right, Ashley, pull it up. Pull it up.
Put it up on the screen.
Oh, One Punch Man. Duh.
Yeah, One Punch Man.
Oh, One Punch Man, of course.
Oh, and Black Butler. Oh, and
You are my princess.
So, just going to do a bit of self-promo real here quick. I love this manga so much that I made an audiobook of it. You can go buy it, by the way, on Bookwalker. You Are My Princess full audiobook edition is
we did
available.
not condone of this self-promo.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to do this, but I'm doing it anyway. Just, by the way, it's actually, okay.
That's where Terra Formars would go.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into Terra. I will lightly touch on this. It's actually genuinely a really good BL story.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to get into BL, it's good, man. It's about a guy who's like, yeah, dude, I like this guy, but I don't know. This isn't normal, right? But then he really likes the guy.
That's literally every yaoi.
Yeah.
No, a lot of them are really rapey.
Oh yeah, that's true.
A lot of them are like, oh, you don't like me? Well, let me make you come, and that'll change your mind. And it's like, yeah,
Cyberpunk music playing.
it's like, hold on, what? It's like, isn't this? And then everyone's like, no, don't say it.
No.
It's not weird.
Shut up,
It's
it's
only
hot.
weird if you make it.
Shut up,
weird.
it's hot.
Yeah, but it's actually a really wholesome manga. And yeah, if you want to listen to it in audiobook form, you can officially license.
Anyway, do you want to go through the list in case there are some that
in
some
case
people don't
we
know?
didn't mention them already.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got most of them, right?
Yeah.
Claymore,
Yeah.
One Punch Man,
Yep.
Berserk, JoJo, Black Butler, Gantz, Vinland Saga, and Eyeshield 21.
I wasn't expecting Black Butler there for some reason.
Actually,
Yeah.
okay.
I thought you were more of a fan of the anime.
I didn't realize you read the manga of that.
Yeah.
I've read, what chapter did I read up to? I've read a good chunk of Black Butler. I haven't caught up because I know that a bunch of shit happened and there's a lot of big plot twists that I know about, but I haven't read yet.
Right.
But I've read most of Black Butler, and it's so much better in manga format than anime because the first,
Yeah.
Really?
the first season is basically like kind of like a, I don't know, episodical slice of life kind of thing that doesn't really progress the story that much.
Yeah.
And the second season is just non-canonical.
Right.
Of Black Butler. I saw that. Sorry. I just did
Sorry,
water just fell down.
I just tripped on myself again.
Did you miss your mouth?
Cue
But
another
yeah,
montage
and,
of me not being able to drink liquids.
It's
Hello?
a shame, right? Because it's the whole meme, right? I don't really talk about it because
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be, people kind of want to be like, oh, he's the Black Butler guy. But
Yeah.
I don't mind talking about it now. But yeah, the third season of Black Butler, the anime is based on like the manga, and it's amazing. Like it's like a really morbid part. It's really dark, and you kind of realize how good it can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, the manga is a really, really good read, and I'd recommend it if you kind of like the idea of Black Butler, but don't want to go through with the anime.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have read it if it wasn't for my YouTube videos.
Yeah, because
yeah.
like I've heard the second season of Black Butler. Is that different from the manga?
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
they
And
just
that's why
made
it's
it up.
I think it's anime
And
original,
It's
yeah.
completely terrible.
Yeah.
It's universally like hated.
Okay.
But like genuinely give the manga a shot. It's pretty good.
So what's like different about the manga than the anime that you would recommend the manga over it?
Well, it's like way more serious, way more like it doesn't like fuck around, and it doesn't really feel like because the anime very much feels like it's kind of just yaoi bait at times.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it just feels
it's
like
definitely
they're
trying to
trying
like pertain to its audience.
Yeah, and and the first season again, it's very casual. It doesn't really. It does cover a lot of the same things, but it does it in a way that I think, oh, okay.
I watched season 1 of the anime and I thought it was like,
It's fun.
It's
It's,
decent.
fun, but
Yeah.
the manga does it so much better. It does it so
Yeah.
much more justice.
and I feel Toboso Yana's like art style is a lot just like more gritty and like kind of dark.
it's so good. But she
Yeah.
gets better as well, and it's so good. And the third season of Black Butler covers like a circus arc,
Yeah.
and it's so good. And the anime does it justice.
Book of
Circus.
Book of Circus,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's
So
actually
is
so
like
good.
the anime finished now, or is the manga finished? Sorry.
I think the manga's still going.
The manga's still ongoing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah.
Still going,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's quite long running. And
Yeah.
I don't know how many volumes are on. I think we're over like 13 at this point. I think it's
it's way more than that.
quite a lot.
I think it's like over 20 now.
Is it really over
Yeah.
20? Fuck,
Yeah.
I think I've only read up to like 10?
Right.
But I
Right.
really enjoyed it. I don't know why I stopped. I'm probably going to read it at some point.
Yeah.
Because you know when you catch up to a certain point, you're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I
because
don't know.
because
I don't know
for me, like my manga reading habits is that I just love binge reading manga
yeah, same.
so much.
I can't. Once I
Oh,
start a
we're
manga,
on
I
volume
can't stop.
30 now.
Volume 30 of Black Butler.
I know I've read over half, I think.
Right.
But I don't know how long ago that was. Because I think what was happening is that I got really burnt out on it. Because
Yeah.
I read so much of it in like the
Yeah.
space of a week.
And your entire career was
yeah, and then,
essentially that.
then that happened, and I got but I think this is probably going to remind me to get back into it
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
probably because with One Punch Man I did that as well, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But genuinely, I think even though if you've seen the show, I would give it a shot.
Yeah, I've definitely... I did remember giving the Black Butler manga a go.
Yeah.
Like, after I finished watching season 1.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I just, at that point, season 2 had already finished airing. And I just heard, don't watch season 2.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, time for the manga then. And I just never got to it.
Yeah, and it's really, really dark at times. Like you forget like the main premise is that in Black Butler, he's a demon and then he's made a contract with him to have his life at the end.
Yeah.
And like, they kind of play off it a lot in the anime and make it seem like, it's kind of hot, huh? It's kind of, okay, you know? But in the manga, they constantly remind you sometimes like, oh shit, he just like murders people, like straight up. And they're not afraid of like showing like really morbid stuff. There's some really good plot twists, you know? Like, I won't spoil some of them, but there's some really fucked up shit that happens in there.
Yeah.
And it's really worth giving it a shot,
So
even though all the not stereotypes, but all the what's the word?
Facade, I guess.
Facade or the preconceptions that a lot of the Western anime fans have. Because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
in Japan it's pretty fucking popular, I think.
Oh, yeah. But it's popular, but it definitely does have like a strong female audience.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, Sebastian is iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, being the sexy man of
Yeah.
manga
I mean,
and
he
anime.
was like the sexy man of anime for like the early to mid 2000s.
I'd still argue if you make a list of top 5 sexiest anime characters, Sebastian's on there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he is just sexy.
He just has that like cult,
British.
he has that like cult following.
Let's hit
right?
the pubs, lads.
It's Black Butler in it.
Like he's just an icon of his time for like
Yeah.
anime and manga at the time. Like for like there's a few like I'd say characters in like anime that just personified a certain character trait. Like you think of Yandere for our generation, it's fucking Gasai.
Right,
You know what I mean? You think sexy man, it's Sebastian from Black Butler.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
he's-
don't think anyone's replaced him yet.
Yeah, no.
I mean, the one that got close was maybe like Yuri from Yuri and Ice.
Yeah, but even then, like,
Even
I
then,
just
though.
Even then,
didn't, you know.
yeah.
I don't think
It's
he's
like
I don't think he's as charming as
it's the staple.
Sebastian.
Sebastian is just a staple of
Yeah.
like it's like the sexy butler but also just very suave, very charismatic. Right?
Yeah.
Like it is very entertaining, and I feel like Sebastian does carry it a lot of the time because he's just so fun, and even though he is like obedient, he makes it so entertaining.
Yeah.
And you know, again, and even my videos that didn't even remotely do him justice. He's so witty and so clever in the anime and the manga. Sorry, where he's so fun to watch. And the the 3rd season of the anime is good, and the Book of Murder, I think it's called. Is that correct? Book of Murder is pretty fun. It's like kind of like a mini whodunit
Right.
All right.
within in 2 hours. And it's pretty fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's obviously Sebastian solves everything and does it magically, which is always fun because it's like
man.
because it's like, what if Sakamoto became a butler later on in life? That is
I mean,
Sebastian.
I feel like Sebastian and Sakamoto are just like
They're literally-
twins.
yeah,
that
they
just
are
got
the same.
separated
Yeah.
at birth. You know what I mean?
They're literally the same person. Like Sakamoto is just Sebastian in school.
Yeah.
Because they literally have the same kind of like it's. Maybe Sakamoto is a little more tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sebastian very much has the same kind of visual humor a lot of the time and does like a lot of. You know, the joke is often that he is just so insanely competent at everything.
Right,
Just so OP. Basically.
He is literally OP as fuck, but it's amazing. Like, it's so good. I just love it. It's so, and I feel like there's not a manga that has the same feeling as Black Butler. Like, I don't think there's a single manga that feels like it or anime show that has the same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where-
I feel it definitely like created a staple for that
For sure.
kind of genre.
Yeah.
Like, there's probably a lot of manga that's imitating Black Butler,
100%.
but yeah,
Because there's not many manga out there that do like deal with like pretty intense themes. They have like all these like thriller aspects. They also have the parts that appeal to the Fujos quite a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So it kind of mixes a lot of genres together. And I think even Yana Tobiso herself said that she didn't even know what genre she'd put it in because it touches on so many genres throughout the manga.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's super unique and worth reading.
okay.
Did you watch the anime or read the manga first?
Anime first.
Okay. I should have expected that actually.
Yeah.
So anime, I got into. So I watched the anime,
Yeah.
and I thought, wow, I just watched it, and I thought it was kind of, it was kind of boring. I thought it was okay,
Yeah.
I thought season 2 was god awful,
Yeah.
and at this time, Book of Six hadn't came out yet, and basically I did that, and then someone was like, oh, you should just do like character impressions for my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. And I did a few, and then Sebastian just happened to be the one that I tried first, and I thought
Yeah.
it sounded nothing like him. But then everyone's like,
posh British butler guy, right?
yeah, everyone's like, oh my god, it's him. But then looking back, I'm like, it doesn't even sound like J. Michael Tatum's War. But I'm sure he was offended that people were. I'd be offended.
Yeah.
And then I did that, and then I got surrounded by people who loved it and who
Yeah.
kept like telling me, read it.
Yeah.
And I was like reluctant. I was like, no.
So wait, what was the first manga you ever read?
First
Is it
manga-
on the 3x3? that you
It
like
might have been-
distinctly remember?
Might have been Black. No, it must have been Black Butler. Yeah,
was
it
in-
must have
it
been
was
Black
Black
Butler.
Butler?
It was Black
Right.
Butler, and I didn't read any for like 2 years.
Right.
He just thought manga equals Black Butler.
Because the reason why I actually got into it, I remember this now because I did a manga dub of part of the I can't remember what the boat arc's called. The campaign arc? Campaign?
just the boat arc.
The
one-
boat arc.
The Book of Atlantic, is it? Book of Atlantic.
Right.
Maybe that's what it's called? Because they made a movie about it. I haven't watched the movie. I did a comic dub of a portion of that. And so, I just ended up reading it because I was like, oh, this arc looks cool. And I had it out of context and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is cool. I'm going to go read the rest. And I started reading it. And I read past that point and then I stopped.
Right.
But everything before I enjoyed. But I'm probably going to go finish it.
Yeah, because what I want to know is that I'm looking at most of these, and I'd say a lot of these have come from recommendations, literally from us, telling you to go out and read it.
I know exactly which ones Garnt recommended. I know which ones I recommended.
So
let's
do it in the order of I read them?
Yeah. Go
Yeah.
for it.
Okay, so next up was One Punch Man.
Okay.
Yeah. So what inspired you to read One Punch Man?
I guess the anime, right?
Season 1 was too good.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, how can you can't cock block me like that, right? Like season 1 was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw the manga and I was like, oh. A lot of the times when I'd see the manga when I wanted to go further, like past the anime, I would start reading the manga and I'd be like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not. But One Punch Man was the one where I was like, holy shit, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like this artwork is just insane.
I noticed you have 2 Murata Yusuke manga.
Yeah.
I love his art, man.
Yeah.
His art is
He's
something.
a beast, dude.
And he's so good at visually conveying like
Action.
and also just kind of like metaphors I've seen.
God, yeah. Let's talk about. I swear, because I think, especially in sports anime, sports anime a lot of times live and die by the metaphor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because how can
Because
you?
concepts need to be explained.
Yeah.
Right.
Because how can you convey a certain move or a certain aspect of a sport that people who do not understand the sport can easily understand?
Yeah.
You go for metaphors, and by far the manga that does the best visual metaphors is Eyeshield 21.
Yeah.
Fuck your Haikyuu and your fucking
This
crows
is why,
or whatever.
this is why I would want him to do a chess anime. He would explain the concepts of chess through metaphors amazingly.
Yeah.
He'd be like, this is a pin, and he'd figure out some weird fucking way of showing it. I would love that, but sadly it's not popular in Japan, chess. So big rip. But yeah, One Punch Man, I just dude, this one was still to this day one of my favorite mangas. Out of all of these, I still think that One Punch Man is maybe one of my favorites. Fuck,
Really?
it's so hard. It's
Yeah, that's the difficult one.
Yeah.
Because you have JoJo there.
because
as well.
JoJo's there as well, and I think JoJo might be my favorite, obviously. But I think JoJo is my favorite. Is it because I have a difference between my favorite and the one I enjoyed the most?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think I enjoyed One Punch Man the most because it was just pure fun.
Yeah.
But JoJo is my favorite because there's so much about JoJo that I love.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the style of JoJo. I love all of that. And I feel like JoJo is so much more than just the manga. It's an experience.
It's not just
golden
a manga,
experience.
it's a culture.
You don't just read JoJo.
You live it.
You live it. You experience it.
JoJo-
You become JoJo.
There's just something about JoJo, which we'll talk about later. But
Yeah.
it's just there's something about it. But One Punch Man, man, I finished season 1, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna see what happens after.
Yeah.
Because it ends. Because I mean, after you watch the Boros fight, which if you don't know what One Punch Man is. I'm going to explain to you. It's a guy who beats everyone in one punch. That's literally it.
And he's a man.
And at the end of the season 1 of the anime, he has this amazing fight that is so visually stunning.
Yeah.
And just amazing. And it's so hype. And it's probably one of the coolest animated fights in anime.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I have to know where this can go. Because everyone's saying the story's amazing onwards. So I started reading it. And I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. The next arc starts. And I'm like, okay, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we start the, what's known as the monster arc.
Yeah. And the Garo arc.
Garo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they introduced Garo, which is like one of the main characters going forward in the anime and manga. And season 2 covers I'd probably say the beginning, just barely the beginning of one of the next
It's a
arc.
long arc, yeah.
It's very long. It's still ongoing on the manga. I started reading it and I was like, God damn, this man's drawings are just another level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually insane.
It's insane because I remember reading One Punch Man before the anime came out because everyone was hyping it up. So I was just like, it was the one show when I'm just like, let me just read like a chapter or two just to see
You can't read a chapter or two.
what I can expect. So I tried reading a chapter or two and then I read everything that was out.
You
Yeah.
can't.
And then,
You can't pick that up and
Yeah.
not read everything.
and
It's
then
impossible.
and then I remember reading it and being like, there's no way the anime is going to live up to this hype. I was just like, there's no fucking way. But like, not because the art is like, I think some of the best art that's available. I mean,
Dude, when you turn there's a panel, right, where Saitama punches so hard, the clouds split.
Yeah.
And in this panel, you like the detail on the earth and the clouds is insane.
Yeah.
No, there's some panels that are literally just animated keyframes.
Yeah.
Where you read it and it's just like an anime because it's just basically keyframes, right? So like I was very, very impressed at, you know, the team at Madhouse for being able to put their own spin on his amazing fucking art and like living up to this amazing art. But even without that, One Punch Man is some of the best battle shonen like
100%
art that you can find in all of anime and manga.
Yeah, and I think that I'm very glad that One Punch Man season 1 was animated the way that it was, because I think anime season 1 is more of a comedy, and then season 2 onwards is an action. I feel like the comedy very much takes a backseat after the first arc.
Well, because I mean, you can only do so much with that single concept, right?
Yeah.
But like the way that they made it work every time was so genius and funny. Like One Punch Man season 1 is one of the funniest shows in anime.
Yeah, I agree.
And in the manga, I feel that although the art is much better, I feel like the comedy doesn't hit as hard because the comedic timing is super important for jokes. And I feel like you can't have as good comedic timing when you're reading something as when you're experiencing it, the joke. Right?
I think it's just like a different experience or a different.
It's a different type of comedy.
But a joke read aloud will always be funnier than a joke you've read. Like that's just.
I don't know.
I disagree.
I disagree.
I thought that too until I read like stuff like Gintama.
Yeah, but I bet the Gintama animes delivers the lines funnier.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like sometimes it does, yes, but then there are some chapters that I think Gintama is the only manga that's genuinely made me laugh out loud reading it.
Yeah.
And that's like a very powerful thing to say, right? Because like, again, it's like, as you said, a joke is much funnier said out loud.
Yeah. But it's like timing, you know, everything playing into the joke.
Yeah.
There's so many aspects that can help elevate the joke in anime.
I think that comes down to, at least with manga, how good you are at like framing, right? And I think Murata Yusuke is so fucking good at framing like a concept that he can just somehow do that with comedy as well. Like he already proved it with Eyeshield 21's like action scenes, right?
It's insane.
And this man can also do comedy as well. I'm like, what can this man not do?
And I've read the original one webcomic.
Oh yeah.
And,
how was that?
Yeah, it's a lot harder to go to. But also I noticed
to explain, one can't draw. That's
why
he got.
So the original One Punch Man is a webcomic. I'm sure you guys know this. It's a webcomic, and then Minato Yusuke picked it up and was like, "Hey, let me draw good for you, like real good."
Yeah.
And then it's published in Shonen, not Jump. It used to be Jump, right?
Jump Plus.
Jump Plus now, right? It's once a month, which is painful because I think one did weekly. I believe the webcomic's over now, right? Is it?
Kind of.
Am I
It's
crazy?
not over. It's just on hiatus.
Oh, okay.
Because I've read up to everything that's out, and it's just kind of in the middle of an arc right now.
Yeah.
But like the manga right now is adapting it's
in the monster arc still.
Yeah, it's still in the monster arc. So it's taken the webcomic as kind of like a basis and just really expanding on that.
Yeah, I've noticed because that they've in the differences between the manga and the webcomic is that they've put aspects of the story that happened, they've moved them around in the manga into like better timings.
Yeah.
Like there's some characters that got their backstory in the webcomic at a certain time that they were shifted to them when they were having a fight.
Yeah.
They got the flashback and their backstory. Like there's a superhero called Super Black Alloy, who is a man that is super muscular.
Yeah.
And, that's his thing. And he gets his flashback at a different time, but in the actual, the redone manga, he gets it during one of his fights with Garu.
Right.
Which I noticed was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know they were mixing things around.
Yeah.
But yeah, the manga is, oh my God, just take one look at some of these panels and you'll be reading it for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best action manga I've ever read, if not the best, honestly.
It's hard. I can't think of anything that, in terms of just pure action and fights, that comes close in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't read many, so I can't say, but anime.
I mean, I still think it's one of the best.
It's definitely one of the best, yeah.
This episode is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
Fuck, we started. Using the internet without ExpressVPN is like taking a call on the train or bus on speaker for everyone to hear. And who wants to do that?
No one.
Joey, did you know that your internet service provider can see every single website you visit?
You're joking.
No, I'm not joking.
I might as well just strip in front of them.
But did you know there's a way that you can stop it? By using ExpressVPN, goddammit. They won't even see a website that you go to.
ExpressVPN creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet, so people can't peep on your online activity.
It's really easy to use. Just fire up the app and click one button and you're connected to the internet in a different country.
Plus, it's rated #1 by CNET, Wired, The Verge, works on your phones, laptops, even routers, so everyone who shares your Wi-Fi can be protected.
Honestly, I use it all the time. It's super easy. It works on phone, laptop, like you said. You literally just start it up, press one button, and it's like done in seconds.
I mean, you've been using it to watch the Olympics, right?
Yeah,
right now.
It's super good. It just works.
It works.
It just works.
It just works.
I have no complaints.
Yeah. Secure your online activity today by visiting expressvpn.com/trashtaste. That's expressvpn.com/trashtaste. And you can get an extra 3 months for free.
expressvpn.com/trashtaste. Links in the description. Back to the show.
I really like, as we said, Terra Formars. Terra Formars is great action.
That was a great manga.
Yeah.
But like, the story is kind of meh at times.
Yeah.
But the action is spot on. It's so cool. We've spoken about Terra Formars before, but Terra Formars is just it's a manga which is one of my favorites, and it has like a ridiculous amount of chapters. I think like 400 something. I think it has.
It's like
It has a
30.
lot.
It's almost 30 volumes, I think.
Yeah, and it's like I think they just started a new arc.
Yeah.
When I stopped reading it, and it felt like it was going to be the last and biggest arc, and I was like, "Fuck me."
I think it's already finished.
Is it finished?
I think.
Has it?
I don't know.
No way. Because
I only read up to around like volume like 11 or 12.
So the concept of terraformers, which dude, I was so fucking sold on this concept because I was like, that's fucking badass.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So they sent a mission to explore the moon.
Yeah.
And when they got there, there was cockroaches that were just ripped, like
Giga Chad.
like Giga Chad cockroaches.
Someone had shot their fridge into the moon and it had cockroach on it.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. It's like Giga Chad cockroaches. I know we've spoken about terraformers before on like the third episode or something.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so there's cockroaches on the moon, and turns out they're not just any normal cockroaches. They're Giga Chad cockroaches that are like superhuman beings, super smart, but have the senses of cockroaches.
Yeah.
So this whole team dies that goes there, and you see this right away, so it's not a spoiler. So that then Earth goes and they're like, we must do something. So they go and get warriors or people they think are worthy to fight, and they inject them or in their DNA with insect DNA.
Yeah, insect DNA.
So each one of them has insect attributes. So one of them is like a praying mantis mixed with a human, and so he can punch really like lightning fast.
Or like one of them, I think they injected with like a flea, so they can jump really fucking high. Yeah.
And this was when I was sold. One of them got the what's it called? It's the shrimp that can like flick. At like
the punching
the
shrimp.
mantis shrimp.
Mantis
The mantis
shrimp.
shrimp.
Yeah.
It's the mantis shrimp that can break glass by flicking the air
Yeah.
in front of it. And and I was like, oh shit, I know the mantis shrimp is badass. And so then they send them to the moon to go and do research and fight back against
Fight the Giga Chads.
And it's so fucking cool because then it turns into like a political thing because obviously if there's shit on the moon, there's going to be a lot of countries arguing about what's going on there and who did it, how is this here. How many chapters does it have?
22 volumes.
22 volumes.
Okay.
Is it over or is it still going?
It's 2000. Yeah, it's over.
Okay.
Oh, it's over?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to finish it then.
Well, I guess this is just the Connor needs to catch up to manga
I read
episode.
it 3 years ago,
Yeah.
and it was still ongoing.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
When did it end?
A couple of years ago, right?
2014.
No.
Oh, so
I think it started in 2014, didn't it?
it started in 2011.
Oh shit.
Wait, when did it finish?
2014.
Really? There's no way I could have read everything because when I finished reading it, it was not done.
Yeah, it was still going at that
Yeah.
point, I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure?
Are you sure it's over?
Yeah, let me check.
Either
Okay.
way, you need to catch up on it.
Yeah.
Either way, I need to catch up, and
Yeah.
it was such a fun manga. And if you like One Punch Man, I think you'll love Terra Formars.
I'm curious. How did you find Terraformers? Because
I
most of
watched
these
the anime.
Oh, you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to
I'm
go through
so
that.
sorry. What convinced you from the anime to be like, I'll read the manga? Maybe the
Because-
manga.
Maybe the manga is better.
Yeah.
So Terra Formars had an anime adaptation, and it was notorious for being absolutely dreadful because what they did was they made this extremely gory anime, and they were like, "This is great. Let's just censor everything."
Yeah.
But they did it in the worst fucking way. They literally just put black dots and bars across the screen. So there was some scenes where you couldn't see anything.
Yeah. It's literally infamous because I remember when it
Put
first
some screenshots on the screen.
Yeah, because I remember I read Terraformers before the anime came out, and I was just like, how are they gonna adapt this? Because some of these scenes are pretty like brutal, pretty gory. Yeah. And then I saw that I think the famous scene is where like the cockroach is holding someone's head, and it's just, he's just holding a black dot.
circle.
Because dude, I'm still convinced, right? If this had like a good anime adaptation, like a solid animation, like not One Punch Man level, but close to it, right? of the action scenes being done that well, this would be like fucking top 10 anime.
And that's why I was looking forward to it, because I remember I got recommended the manga from like one of my friends who was like, dude, you have to fucking read this. Is amazing. I read it, I was like, whoa.
Because could you imagine the shock people would get when they're like this? Because there's a scene, right, where it's very early on, so it's not really a spoiler, but one of the scenes, because all the teams drop in different locations on the moon, so you kind of get like play-by-plays of where all the different teams are on the moon. And one of the scenes where one team just goes out of the ship and immediately just they see a flash and someone's lost their head already. And it's like, holy shit.
And it was like right after she was injected as well. So it's like, all right, here comes the part where she kicks ass and then immediately dies.
And it's like, oh shit, they're stronger. And it's like everything about this show is so hype. And like reading the manga is like, okay, how are they going to build on this? And they just keep finding ways to make it more and more interesting. It's like, holy shit.
And the art style is so good.
Dude, the art is
so good. Like the manga just never stops kicking off. It's like permanently just kicking off.
It's constantly popping off.
There's always fights. And if there's not fights, there's some like Game of Thrones political shit going on. And it's like, all right, just because we're on the moon doesn't mean that China doesn't hate Russia. Like it's like there's stuff going on. And then it's like, it's so good. And it's, and I love how they introduce, like, I love it when shows, when there's a lot of characters that is like, this is the character, this is where they're from, this is their height, this is their ability. And you're like, sick, thanks. Now I can mentally remember that information.
Because the how I discovered Terra Formars is moving on to the next show on your list, which is Gantz. Like, I literally finished Gantz, and I was like, I need more shows like Gantz.
It's very reminiscent of Gantz.
I think it's just like how brutal and unpredictable, like, unpredictable it is in terms of who's going to live, who's going to die. And I feel like it's the meme where if you can't predict what's going to happen or who's going to die, it's like, oh, it's kind of like the Game of Thrones. But like the first time I actually was like properly shocked at who lived and who died was fucking Gantz. Which I don't know how much we can go into spoilers about Gantz, but like you cannot predict who dies in it.
It's insane. And the anime was like, it was decent. It was pretty solid.
I feel like if you are between the ages of like, even though you shouldn't be reading this if you're 16, but if you are the age of 16.
No. This is like the perfect. I think I watched the anime when I was 16 years old.
This is like the most I'm 16 and I want to be experiencing badass shit. Because, okay, there's a scene that happens very early on, right? And this is quite graphic, where, so I wish I could explain the premise, right? Okay, so Gantz, what happens is, wait, how does it very, very start?
It starts with the two main characters jumping in front of a train.
Yeah, so...
Oh, that's... oh, my God. Yeah, right. That's
so the two characters die in a train crash, or like...
And that scene was fucked as well.
Yeah, so they die pretty brutally in a train crash. And afterwards, they wake up in this room, and this black circle has transported them to this room along with a lot of
so fucking iconic.
Along with other people who have just died, and they're
all wearing suits, right?
And everyone's wearing a suit. They kind of look like they're wearing like gimp suits or whatever.
Morph suits.
And they're told that they have to go kill this alien.
Oh wait, no, they don't wear the suits. They're told to wear the suits.
Yeah, they're told to wear the
suits.
suits.
Some people don't want to wear the suits.
Yeah, because it looks like a fucking.
It does like a gimp suit.
Yeah, it does kind of look like a gimp suit, right?
And there's just a moment in this anime that in the manga, it's a slight spoiler, but not really. It happens really early on, where like a girl gets transported in the room, and he's like a teenage boy, and he's like, "Let's have sex," and she's like, "Okay."
Yeah,
and then they just have sex, and you see it, and you're like, "Whoa, okay, what?"
And they don't do a Terra Formars in the anime.
Oh no,
they show it in the anime.
In the anime, there's literally 2 sex sines in the anime.
Yeah, and he start having sex there in the fucking hallway of this house.
That's right.
And it's like, whoa, okay, I haven't experienced this before in a manga. Just fucking happening. All right, this.
I don't even think Dojins get into the sex scene.
It was literally just Girl P's like, "Do you want to have sex? Because we're dead." And he's like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah. And I remember literally watching Gantz when I was about 15, 16.
It is the most I'm 16 and
I'm just like, oh my God, they're showing a sex scene in an anime.
But even now, right? When I read it last year, it's one of those shows that there's nothing quite like it. So you're like, whoa, this is really fresh. Holy shit. I haven't experienced anything like this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hold punches, and the whole aspect is that they have to kill these demons that exist in the human world?
Aliens. Yeah,
aliens?
They say that there's been aliens that have been living in the human world, and then they have to kill them, and
they're worth points, and they have to get X amount of points to come back alive.
Yeah, exactly. Or there's different things that they can do with points.
Right.
They can bring people who have died before back to life as well. The point is that to kill an alien, first you think it's like an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But like it's really, really fucking difficult to kill these aliens. And every arc there's a different alien that they need to kill, and there's a different
harder.
And it gets harder and harder, and progressively like more and more people will die to the point where you can never really expect who's going to live and who's going to die.
Yeah.
And I remember like I feel like the peak arc was part 2 because it's like separated into 3 parts, I think.
Yeah.
I think part 2 was the best. Part 3 had some really, really good moments. I feel like there is a certain climax to Gantz that really like, it made me really existential.
Yeah. I know what you're on about.
Yeah, and without spoiling too specific details, when they find the creator of these balls, that fucking scene, just like, I remember reading the events of that scene and I'm just like, oh my god.
This man did like 10 tabs of LSD.
Yeah.
Like it's so like giga brain existentialism.
Yeah.
I mean, have you read anything else by Okuhiro?
Yeah, I know he did the
Inuyashiki was fucked.
Yeah, I've heard I know of the other stuff he's done and it's all fucked from what I've heard.
He did Inuyashiki. The most recent one he did was this one called Gigant.
I've heard of this.
Gigant?
Yeah, Gigant. It's like Giga and Garnt put together.
Is it another just awful?
Gigant is also just like I've started reading it.
Is it finished?
No, it's still going.
I can't take that title seriously.
It's really fucking good, but it's like it's an Okuhiro manga because it's just fucked.
There is one scene that I will warn you is extremely questionable in the show.
Oh yeah,
and we spoke about this before on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's extremely questionable. Just giving you a heads up. It's a little racist. Quite racist.
Well, I mean, Eyeshield has a similar scene.
I think we spoke about this before on the podcast as well. But just get a heads up if you do go into it. There is like that moment.
Yeah.
It's very yikes and like. Okay. All right.
I was like, all right, cool. Like,
it's what I love about Gantz and Terra Formars is just it's pure batshit insane fun.
Oh yeah,
it is, and like it's kind of like the edgy 16-year-old in you, but like there are some.
But it brings out the 16-year-old in you that thinks like just fighting and death is badass.
But like there's like 2 like kind of different categories I put this in. You know, there's like the edgy 16-year-old kind of shows where it brings that out of you and it remembers what you felt like when you were 16. And then there's shows like Elfen Lied and Mirai Nikki.
I was about to say Elfen Lied.
Yeah, that you watch and I'm just like, damn, why the fuck did I ever enjoy this?
Yeah,
you know?
Gantz I can look back and I'm like, that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Elfen Lied look back and I'm like, why was this even remotely popular?
Yeah, I was like Elfen Lied 10 out of 10 when I was 16.
I'm just like, was I this easy to trick when I was 16 when I saw blood and tits?
Yeah, when you're 16, this is new to you. Like this shit is exciting. You're like, whoa, they can do this?
Yeah. It's edgy, it's artistic.
Yeah, it's just like it's crazy.
Yeah, I remember a point when Elfen Lied was literally when I joined the community, Elfen Lied was considered like a modern day classic.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I think to a lot of people it still is. Like I think
to a lot of people.
A lot of people still
really
do. Yeah.
And then someone was like, if you thought the anime was good, read the manga because it's like completely different. And I was like, all right, bet.
And it's no different.
No, it is. Oh. It is very. It's actually more fucked in the manga.
Oh, okay.
But like 16-year-old Edgy was like, how could they improve on this? And then you read it now, and I'm like, all right.
I mean, I think I like watched like Full Metal Alchemist before it. You know?
Yeah.
And then just going from that, where I was like, okay,
you went from Full Metal Alchemist to Elfen.
Yeah. I was like looking at my monitor on like all like with all these fucking pop-ups everywhere. Like, whoa, what the fuck? She just cut them up.
Yeah.
With like ghost arms. Like what?
Yeah, I think that like the next show after Elfen Lied and Mirai Nikki was probably Akamiga Kill, where I remember it got so fucking popular, and I'm just like, I watched the anime.
Okay,
that is peak. I'm 16.
Yeah,
Edgy,
I am 16. Like I'm 14, and this is deep.
Yeah.
I am convinced, right? Okay, I like Elfen. I know Elfen Lied. I like Akamiga Kill. I'm just gonna say it right now. I like it. Okay. I don't care what people say.
Okay.
I like it. Fuck you. I like the anime.
Wait, did you finish it?
The anime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still like it?
I still like it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just leave it
You
like
clown on me all you want.
Okay.
I liked it.
Okay.
Right? I had a good
that's
time.
You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
This is. I think this will make sense.
Okay.
This is how I view it.
Sure.
POV. You're a fairy tale fan. You're tired of fairy tale. You want something a little edgier. You go immediately to Akamiga Kill.
Yeah.
That's it. Feels. Think about it.
Yeah,
It is literally fairy tale but with way more edge, because it feels like fairy tale in many aspects, where it's like, this is dumb shit.
Why specifically fairy tale?
Because people who like Akame ga Kill are fairy tale fans.
You are right. You're all right.
It is literally, if you are a fairy tale fan, I bet you love Akame ga Kill.
Yeah, you are right, 100%.
Think about it.
I'd say it's more Seven Deadly Sins.
No, but that's
all kind of in the same pool, isn't it?
Seven Deadly Sins, I think, is
it's more
slightly different. I think.
You think so?
We need to make a chart of like what you're likely to like based on which show.
Can we just get like a cork board and just
yeah, we do, right? I think if Seven Deadly Sins is on one end, it's like Hunter x Hunter is on the other end, I think.
Yeah.
And then what other shonens are there? Like, I don't know, fucking Seven Deadly Sins somewhere else.
To me, Akame ga Kill is just like the generation that got into Seven Deadly Sins or Fairy Tale, and then they also watched Mirai Nikki, and they were like, what if we just combine the two? What if we just combine the two, and then you get Akame ga Kill, and you're like, great! You require even less brain cells to enjoy this. Brilliant.
I even though I recognize the ending was fucking dumb for Akame ga Kill, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I had a great time watching that. I'm not afraid to admit
just
that.
the plot twist in that. I was just like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, it was come the fuck on. But I still had a lot of fun. Like, before that, I had a lot of fun with the show. I really enjoyed it.
Admittedly, as much as I clown on Akame ga Kill, first like 5-6 episodes, pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's just like brainless fun. But
you know what else I read all of as well? I just remembered now. Sorry, would you have anything else to say?
No, I was just gonna say, like,
I read all of Deadman Wonderland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's also I'm 16 and
yeah.
It's just it's all rushing back now.
I wanted, you know what? I went on the thing where I was
because
like,
the anime ending sucked.
Yeah, I was like, I had this. This was like 2 years ago. I read it. I had the feeling I was like, you know what? I just want to finish an manga to an anime that didn't get an ending, and I was like, okay, Deadman Wonderland.
Yeah.
And the manga was definitely better, but the manga had a shit ending too.
Yeah, I mean, not as bad as the anime, but it's still not as
shit. It was still shit. It was fine. Deadman Wonderland was very 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I was exactly the same, because I finished Deadman Wonderland.
And I liked the anime a lot.
Yeah, the anime was great until about episode 10.
Yeah.
And then there's the last couple of episodes where it's just like, oh, ran out of budget.
Yeah, basically.
And so I was like, okay. I need to see how this ends.
Yeah. So what have we talked about? So
I mean, do we need to talk about JoJo? Do we really need to talk about JoJo? Do you want to talk about JoJo?
Favorite part?
To read 7.
Yeah.
I haven't actually read JoJo yet, but
it's about to end.
As of the time of recording this, they just announced that it's going to end next month.
Yeah, next month.
I'm probably going to speed run reading JoJo.
Yeah,
so that I can talk about it. I
still have to read, like, I think I'm like 1 volume behind right now, and it's pretty fucking good so far. I'm surprised they're ending it this soon though, because I'm not going to go into
I've heard that it was not too long ago that we got introduced to the main villain. So I don't want to say anything because I don't know anything. That's just what I know. So because everyone was telling me that it had so much left. But whatever. I'm probably gonna read it. I might make a video about it. I don't know if I should on my main channel.
It's pretty good.
Maybe I will.
I wouldn't say it's as good as.
I think it would be on brand for you, right?
Yeah, it'd be on brand for you. In my opinion, it's not as good as like part 6 or 7, but it's up there. It's still pretty good. It's JoJo.
We'll see how this how your feelings will change with the new.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like the ending of JoJo might be fucking amazing, right?
Yeah,
true.
Who knows?
But yeah, JoJo. I mean,
it was the JoJo manga that made you a JoJo fan, right?
Yeah. So it was definitely. I was watching part 5, and I wanted more of part 5 because it hadn't fully aired.
Yeah,
we were only like 10 episodes in, and I was really enjoying it. So I went and picked up the manga, and I just fucking loved it. Like I just had such a great time. It's a shame that the English official releases are quite slow. I think they just finished part 4 translations.
Yeah, I mean, like,
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Like a lot of people forget that JoJo just like was this super fucking underground manga that only like a select few people really read before the anime became a thing. And so there was in the West. And so like there was just no interest to translate it officially until the anime came out. Now it's weird seeing it become this like massive, one of the most biggest anime franchises.
I remember I made a video on, what was it? It was like, I had this series like back in it's like 5 years ago. I had this series where I would like go into manga and like kind of find like myths and like kind of secrets and stuff like that and kind of talk about it. And I remember I made a video on, it was part 3, Oingo Boingo. And there's that like, you know, the manga that he opened, the 9/11 thing. I made a video on that 5 years ago. No views. No views at all. I was like, oh my God. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, no one in the West knows JoJo.
Yeah.
At
that point.
I feel like JoJo was such a 50-50 on whether it would do well.
Yeah.
I think it just...
I'm really surprised that it did.
It just got... I think it just got lucky with the memes.
I think so. Yeah,
I think
it was like so perfected for meme culture that it was like so ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And it's really weird
because it wasn't really memed until part 3.
Yeah.
The anime came out.
I guess
I
so.
feel like I did not see anything about it
yeah.
until part 3 came out, and then I never stopped seeing the Dio versus JoJo Steam sale memes, you know, and you'd see a ton of memes with the Oro and all that.
Yeah.
That's when it really started picking up steam, I think, and then it started. Then I think the people started realizing how good the anime adaptation was, and then I remember it really kicked off during part 4.
Yeah.
Was airing in the West was when it started really getting some steam.
Yeah.
And then part 5 just like insane.
Blew it out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The part 5 anime adaptation of JoJo really like sent it into like this, like, because the fucking Giorno's theme did numbers for the meme community.
Oh yeah.
And JoJo in general. I mean, how many people got into part JoJo in general from
because of the memes?
From the Giorno's theme.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
it's like the what was the Undertale theme?
Megalovania.
Megalovania. That's the one.
It's up there with Megalovania in terms of like
iconic
it's
meme
that
music.
of the
anime community, right?
Because think of like iconic meme music that came out in the past 10 years. What have you got there? Like actual, like iconic, like super iconic. You've got Jonas theme, Megalovania. There's probably some other that I'm forgetting.
Yeah, but I think there wasn't really an explosion of like JoJo never exploded. It just slowly crept up in popularity until you couldn't like stop.
It was inescapable.
Until it was inescapable.
Part 5 really helped. Since part 5 started airing, it really blew up. I feel like a noticeable change.
Yeah, in my opinion, part 5 is probably one of the only parts where it's actually better in the anime.
Yeah. Part 4, I think you can go either or.
Part 4 is either
3, 2, and 1, 100% the manga.
Yeah.
I
think part 3 was like dragged out too much in the anime.
And you can speed run it. In the manga, you can be like, all right, okay. Obviously, don't do that, but you can get through it at a good pace.
Yeah.
But the part 3 of the anime is very slow, which I think JoJo in general is better in manga. Also, because you have part 6 and 7, which are very good. Part 7 being especially notorious for being just amazing. Part 7 is...
Part 7 is amazing.
Part 7 is where I feel like Araki really came into his own and finally made like the perfect JoJo part where there was no pacing issues.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like every part of JoJo had some kind of weird pacing at some point or another.
Every character was fun and like memorable. And
like so for example, like part 3, it drags out a bunch. Part 2 is very short and sweet. You don't really get too much, but it's very nice, and that's why part 2 is really
I mean, Joseph's the only redeeming factor about part
Joseph
2 in a
is
lot
very,
of ways, right?
The villain's boring.
Yeah.
Right? Part 1. I mean, it's notoriously it's quite boring. I won't lie.
Yeah.
It has a lot of charm as a JoJo fan.
But
I
at least
enjoy
it's short, all right?
It's very short.
short.
You can read through it. Part 4, Kira, who is arguably one of the best villains in JoJo, isn't there for the first half. So you kind of get a slice of life for the first part, which is fun, but it takes a while for it to kind of find its footing.
If you're not a fan of that kind of stuff, then you can easily like fall off it. And be like, why is this popular? Why do people like this?
Part 5 is very solid. I think that Giorno is one of the weaker JoJo's. You know, Butcher really does carry. Part 5. And then part 6, you know, it's good. It also has a bit of a controversial ending.
I really like it.
I like it, but some people don't like it. I can understand why people wouldn't like it. I feel that some parts of part 6 are a little weak, but part 7 is like, from the start to finish, banger. Every single character, banger. Like the villains, even like the side villains.
I mean, it does have kind of the least memorable JoJo's though. Johnny.
I don't know. I feel like when
Johnny doesn't get good till like the last quarter, maybe.
Johnny comes into his own,
Yeah.
But I feel like Jono doesn't really come into his own.
No.
At any point.
No.
Sorry for going on a whole talk about JoJo.
Watch or read JoJo.
Just talk about JoJo.
JoJo fans being JoJo fans.
Exactly.
All right.
You need to read it because then you can experience part 7, which you should 100% read. It is amazing. No, you can't skip to it. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because part 7 has so many references to previous parts. You'd be spoiling it. Read it all. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. What else?
Vinland Saga?
Vinland Saga. Did you put this on your list or not? Or we'll get into it?
I didn't put this on my list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I almost did, but then I was like, the anime's out.
Vinland Saga gets to go on my list. One, to banger. 2, because they spelt a Welsh town correctly.
Yeah, it's got one of the most badass like antagonists in like manga, and he's Welsh.
Yeah.
He's Welsh as well. Of course,
Yeah.
I knew you'd love this.
Let's go, lads! Represent! They went to like somewhere, and I was so glad that I really want to, because I read it in English.
Yeah.
I really want to see how they spelt this Welsh town in katakana.
In katakana?
Like, because it was like Brughenyog or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, how the fuck do you how on earth do you?
I don't remember how. I'm pretty sure I got up to that part, but I don't remember how they spelled it.
I really want to see how they spelled it.
I was just like, oh, that's a funny name.
Because how on earth did you put the sound?
They probably don't.
They probably didn't.
Yeah, they probably did. Yeah, they probably did like rock cook. But no, honestly, memes aside, Vinland Saga is amazing.
Brilliant.
Like, I think even if I had read more than 10 manga, it would still be on there. It is so fucking good.
And it's on hiatus, and it's still amazing.
Yeah.
Is it on hiatus?
Yeah, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think
I feel like it's still on.
I read up to a certain point, and I caught up, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
What is it about like all these like seinen manga, the seinen classics, I would like to call them, that just eventually go on hiatus?
Seinen masterpieces always go on hiatus.
Yeah, seinen masterpieces always go on hiatus, right?
Man, it's just Vinland Saga is just amazing, and like when you realize it's a fucking prologue. The first arc is just a prologue. And yet it's still one of the best stories. Okay, what
do you think because if you've seen season 1 of Vinland Saga, you know what the prologue is, you know what the main beginning arc is. What do you think of the Farmland arc?
I really like the Farmland arc.
I'm excited to see the reaction of the anime only viewers to the Farmland arc.
Okay, so we won't talk too much about it, we won't spoil it, but it changes the pace drastically.
So if you think that if you go into season 2 thinking that it's going to be in the same vein as season 1, you're going to be disappointed.
The way I kind of feel about it, right, is that Berserk and Vinland Saga, they have a crossroads, and they both went different ways with it.
Yeah.
Whereas, for example, Guts, right, never stops becoming violent.
No. Yeah.
Guts arguably becomes more violent every time. And, Vinland Saga tries to make a character that maybe feels a little bit more guilty about that.
Yeah.
And so that's what was really interesting for me, is that they weren't just like, okay, this guy's good at killing.
Yeah.
That's what he does now.
Yeah.
He just keeps killing. It's like, no, he actively, like, he matures. He doesn't want to keep doing that. That's what's so interesting about it, and really recommend reading it. It is just amazing.
It's like a huge artistic risk he took with that.
Oh, yeah.
I think it paid off.
And it paid off.
It's like the worst thing he did was making the prologue so fucking good. Imagine that being the worst thing you could do. You made it so fucking good that people expected you to keep doing that. And it's like he keeps doing it, but in a completely different type of story. Because it's like Vinland Saga is fucking incredible, but like the prologue is so different than the rest of the story that if you come into it with the same expectations, you're going to just get whiplash. You're going to be like, where's the action? Where's the killing? Where's the violence? There was so much of this in season 1. And I was just like, well, once you realize that the story was never about that the story was all about...
They were building it up the whole time.
Right? When you realize that everything that his father said at the beginning was what the story was meant to be about from the get-go. And
so
everything else was just
brain.
everything else was like a bigger tangent than anything that we've ever gone on.
Yeah.
And
brilliant.
that was season 1 is just a tangent.
But it's so true to life, because even if your dad told you shit, you wouldn't fucking listen to him.
But
then you'll realize when you're an adult, he was right all along.
Exactly.
That's how, and it's genius.
I'm sorry I went against you, father.
It's so good because it's so, like, even though the situation's obviously crazy, but even though it's not that unbelievable, because it's set on like a real part of history. And it builds characters in such a compelling way that is so realistic, and every single character in this show, you're like, I believe that could be a dude. I believe that I see parallels to myself in some of these characters that are uncomfortable. And that's what I loved about it. It was so good, and it presented war in a horrific way, as war should be. And so if you haven't, please do yourself a solid and read Vinland Saga.
Read it.
It is amazing, and I'm
so
like
excited.
Vikings,
if you like Vikings, and just at least read it for Askeladd, or at least watch the anime for Askeladd.
Welsh represent,
because he is honestly, like, I think one of my favorite characters. In the medium.
Straight up,
definitely.
And also, I mean, I'm very excited for the reaction to anime only fans to the
season 2.
Season 2 to be like, hey, when does stuff happen?
So how long are they gonna stay on this farm for?
It goes from like Doom to RuneScape in like one chapter.
It's like
Doom to
it's
Farmville.
like Stardew Valley or something like that.
I guess that's spoilers enough, right?
I mean, Berserk. We literally just talked about Berserk. It's a classic for a reason.
I've spoke about Claymore before. Claymore again is very similar to, I guess, Berserk in some ways.
I'm dark fantasy.
Would you say you enjoyed it enough that if you had read more manga, you think it would still be in your?
I don't think it would be on here if I had read some other big names that I know I would enjoy. I think it's got a banger first half, and then loses its steam.
Yeah.
You know, there's some stories where you're reading the manga and you're like, this motherfucker planned everything like a blueprint.
Yeah.
He knew exactly what was going to happen, and he knew exactly where this was going. Whereas with Claymore, I feel like they were just writing it, and he had a core idea, and he just didn't, or I don't know if it's a guy or a girl.
Yeah.
They just didn't really know how they wanted to finish it. But I believe George R. R. Martin talks about this. There's two ways of writing stories, and there's the architect and the something like something to do with like growing plants or something.
Yeah.
One likes to design everything like a building. You have every single aspect like out perfectly, and the other, it's like a greenhouse. You just kind of grow things, see where it goes, see what goes with it. And I definitely feel like that is a riskier way of doing stories, but also can lead to some super interesting results.
Yeah.
And I feel like Claymore just kind of lost.
And I feel the architect like type is like the downside to it is like you could build too much, and then you kind of have to like, oh shit, I have to pick up all these pieces
you have too
somewhere.
much. Maybe you build too much of the world, which sometimes is a bad thing.
Because, you can pull a Togashi, right? And just like Hunter x Hunter, introduce like 17,000 things.
Yeah, it's just harder to maintain as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you put more bricks down, and you put more bricks down, and then you forget the foundations you laid.
Yeah.
And you start building a chimney where you've already built like a fireplace on the other side. It doesn't make like any sense sometimes.
Maybe I'm running out of bricks. I don't have much time left. My back hurts. I can't draw shit. I should have thought about this.
Or you could just be like Araki and just be like, I'm just going to plant the seed here and see how it goes.
Which is what I love about that is the perfect example of that kind of writer. Araki literally just gives you ideas, and then he just keeps expanding on it. And you can tell he has some idea of where he wants it to go, but you can tell also there's so many tell there's so many moments where he just like, and he even says it himself, right? Where he just decides to do things.
He doesn't remember half the shit he wrote.
It's such a fun way, and it leads to such fun writing.
100%.
But yeah, Claymore, although an amazing concept, amazing first half. Yeah, definitely.
And the art is so good.
Yeah, the art is
amazing,
like up
bro.
there as one of the best.
Fucking love
What is it about dark fantasy where just the art is just always a banger?
I don't know. It's like a rite of passage, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to write a dark fantasy? Show me your drawing.
You better have godly art.
And for some reason, I'm a simple man. I like rankings. So whenever there's characters and they have ranks, and like they're
clearly, like a true gamer.
They're clearly defined as this is number 1 strong, this is number 2 strong. I don't know why I love that. For me,
you're a gamer.
Yeah, because it's like...
I feel like there's just something embedded into like humans that just like ranking
we
things.
love ranking things. And I love... And then the story aspect of number 7 could actually be stronger than number 2 in some ways. And that's super interesting.
I can see why you like One Punch Man.
Well, yeah, I love the hero rating system of One Punch Man. I think it leads to such interesting like characters in really strange ways. I love the bicycle man in that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of like shonen anime, right? It's just we need to rank people because people like ranks and people like power.
I love it.
What are the shonen YouTubers going to make videos about if we can't fucking rank?
Exactly.
I mean, in Japanese companies, you get ranked on your performance with a rank and a grade.
It's like, I want to be number 1.
Yeah, so like it's like they love doing it. It's everything needs to be ranked here. I'm gonna make a bidet rank.
Yeah. What I love is how everyone's just found out like power ranking things just like. You could power rank the most mundane things.
This is why we have tier lists.
This is why tier lists.
This is literally why tier lists exist.
It's literally just power rankings.
Yeah. And then obviously Eyeshield 21, which is I've watched Kuroko no Basket. I've watched Yomushi Pedal. What other sports anime are famous?
Haikyuu.
I've watched Haikyuu.
Slam Dunk.
I haven't read Slam Dunk. I'm gonna read Slam Dunk.
Okay.
But so far, this is my favorite sports story.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
And again, like the visual.
This single-handedly got me into American football.
Yeah, I still don't know the rules fully. But I had a fun time.
I mean, it's very deviated from real life.
Yeah. It is. I'm watching real American football and I'm just like, where are the metaphors? Where?
Not gonna lie, like I was like, when I read this, because I was like in the prime of my childhood when this was in Shonen Jump, right? So everyone was trying to like do rodeo drives and like devil bad ghosts and shit like
where's
that.
the devil bad ghost?
It's just a great fucking manga, man. It's so good.
It's good.
Like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't practice rodeo driving.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the one move that is probably like the most feasible in real life.
If I ever throw a football ever again, you bet I'm gonna like picture a fucking angel behind me. With that, there's a panel where like he throws this ball and it's like this amazing artwork of like this angel. It's like the angel throw or something. I don't remember what. But this panel, it's like a spread and it's fucking beautiful. And it's just it's so good.
I think some of the best is where you see the battle of the metaphors, and I think it just makes the it makes the sports scene so much more hype, right? Because I can't remember the exact, because it's been years and years. But I remember like very vividly just someone kicking a ball, and it's kicked with like so much force or something that it like penetrates something that's fuck. I'm speaking. What was like the second to last match? What was like
the last match was against the best school. Like they were like the best school in Japan.
Yeah.
Because that was probably the highlight of it. And then afterwards they fight America.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go against like the best players. And the real number 7?
The real
21. Eyeshield 21. Fucking hell.
The real Eyeshield 21.
The real
what was the number?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if that's spoilers. That might be spoiler actually. Mudan, spoiler warning. Put this before. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Yeah, they face the real Eyeshield 21.
All right.
And as they all have interesting powers.
Yeah.
That it's literally Crocono Basket on the field.
I think the guy who wrote Eyeshield 21 went on to do another Shonen Jump manga.
Dr. Stone?
Yeah, he wrote Dr. Stone.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right. Yeah, I remember that. Very good storyteller.
Very different.
I like that.
Yeah.
All these I would recommend.
all these are very, very solid shows. I mean, it's like it kind of gives off the vibe of just like, I've only read 9 manga, which you kind of have.
At least you've read 9 great
But
manga.
you've read like 9 great manga.
Thank you.
Good taste.
Assuming the bottom left is replaced with Terra Formars.
It's amazing. Well, yeah, and this one you can read on Bookwalker or listen to on Bookwalker as well. Just I
guess it's kind of good you went first, because I guess you can listen to some of mine and Joey's recommendations, or like some of our favorite manga. I mean, I'm not going to say I recommend everyone that's on my 3x3.
Yeah, me neither.
But there are definitely some recommendations that I think everyone should read on my 3x3 show. So shall we move on to who's next?
This episode is sponsored by Bookwalker.
What does Daddy Bookwalker have for us today?
Oh, I'll tell you what Daddy has. Daddy added 2 new titles to the exclusive catalog. Did you know?
2 brand new exclusives?
That's right, baby. And you won't believe it. One of them is a full color volume of Why the Hell Are You Here, Teacher?
Wow, I couldn't possibly miss out on the student-teacher action in full color.
Joey, what is this about?
Well, I'll tell you. Why the Hell Are You Here, Teacher is a lewd manga series depicting the awkward relationships between students and their teachers, who keep getting into awkwardly embarrassing situations, inevitably developing an interest for each other by exploring the appeals of a grown woman's body. Did you get all of that?
Now that sounds spicy.
The second title they've brought to us today is the brand new series called She's Adopted a High School Boy.
Am I dreaming 2 MILF manga in one day?
I know how excited you are about that, Connor.
Indeed. She's Adopted a High School Boy brings a wholesome story of a high school student and the lady living next door to him, who decides to mysteriously adopt him after he's left behind by his parents with a mountain of debt.
Now I want to know more.
Right? Then what are you waiting for? Right now, until the end of August, you can get up to 50% off all of these titles on Bookwalker. Plus, you can get 15% coin back on all eligible titles in their exclusive fair promotion.
Also, if you're a digital collector, you'll be happy to find that purchasing Volume 1 of the ebooks included in this promotion will also come with brand new bookshelf cover images for your collection. Did you get all of that?
No, I didn't.
But guys, don't forget to follow Bookwalker on Twitter at Bookwalker_GL for the latest information on new manga titles and special promotions.
Thank you, Daddy Bookwalker.
Back to the episode.
Next, manga 3x3. And we have beer now.
Yeah, we have beer.
This just appeared.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Oh.
It's been a very civilized 3x3 so far. But I mean, what can we complain about this, honestly?
Normie.
Yeah.
Is it normie though?
Kinda. I'd say it's pretty normie.
I don't think
I don't know, man. You
Listen, ain't nothing wrong with a bit of boys' love. You know, that's as normie as it gets.
Who's next?
Which of you wants to go next?
I don't mind going next.
You don't want to go next?
I don't mind going next.
All right, let's see what Joey has to say then.
This might be. Oh no. Okay.
Why is that so tight?
Hold on. I'll wait for Joey.
Oh, it's me.
Oh, okay.
I actually thought this was Garnt. I could have sworn I folded Garnt's tiny. This is not fixed. I'm just saying. Put Joey's on
You're
the screen.
exposing us, Connor. You're exposing us. Scripted.
Wait, this is Joey too.
It was destiny.
There was 2 Joeys. That was not me. I swear we did not. When I asked who wanted to go next, that was not fixed.
This is like the Google when people search up what is Gigok's real name.
Yeah.
Joey Messenger.
All right.
Well,
Put mine up.
It was rigged, but whatever. We'll have Joey's up next,
Yeah.
I guess. Oh,
Is mine
okay.
Oh, wait, do I know all of these? Okay, let me try and guess this. All right, so Berserk?
Obviously.
I guess you put JoJo Part 6 specifically.
Yeah, I like Part 6 specifically.
Yu Hakusho.
Yu Hakusho.
Yeah. Do you know this one?
Is that Misa from Death Note? Is that
Do you recognize?
I kind of recognize this.
Wait, is it the Assassins thing?
Assassin's thing.
No, that's Hitman Reborn.
This was a fucking.
is
it's a shonen.
It's Shonen Jump.
Yeah,
Black Cat.
It's Black Cat.
I've seen the anime Black
Yes.
Cat.
Very good.
Is the manga good?
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Wait, why did the anime suck dick?
I don't know. I didn't watch the anime.
What? The
This
anime
is a
was
manga
fun.
tier list. Not
Okay,
tier
sorry.
list. 3x3.
This is a manga 3x3.
I'd seen this. I was like, I've seen
It's a manga 3x3.
I've seen this boy with the X.
Yeah.
Triple 3 Vin
That's
Diesel.
Train.
All right, so this
I
one.
forgot his name was Train.
Yeah, it's Train.
This is the Line Rider, right? That mini clip.
Yeah, Line Rider.
What is this? I don't know this one.
It's Oyasumi Punpun.
That's Oyasumi Punpun.
Of course, I knew that was going to be
That
on
doesn't
there.
look depressing.
It's hella depressing.
That doesn't look depressing.
He's the main character.
Yeah, he's the main character, and everyone else is a normally drawn character.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
Slam Dunk.
and then Slam Dunk, Beastars.
To Loveru.
No.
You bought the whole collection of To Loveru recently, right? That's-
yeah, accidentally.
You want to explain the story?
Okay. So I got scammed, quote unquote. So I bought all the volumes of Bobobo, which was one that I thought about putting up here. But it was only volume 1 and 4 though. So basically I opened up volume 1 and it was I bought it second hand. So I was like, okay, it was whatever. It's cheap, so it was whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna relive my childhood. Open up volume 1 of Bobo. It's volume 3 of Tolova. They just literally replaced the cover. I got scammed.
Got bamboozled.
They literally just put the cover of Bobobo on the front of this, but it's volume 3 of the lover.
Do you reckon they did it on purpose or an accident?
I reckon it's by accident. So I was like, wait, don't tell me all of these are Toloro. Luckily, they weren't. For some reason, volume 1 and 4 was.
So it's probably just you know when you like take a DVD out to watch it and you have to put the DVD in the DVD player back in the box.
Yeah,
and then you forget that you've just like
Who the fuck replaced the cover?
I was gonna say, how does that happen?
That analogy would be fantastic if manga were interchangeable.
It was more like, you know,
Loading
like
book in brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more like the Bobobo set was owned by like a teenager, and it was like, well, I need to hide the degenerative shit from my mom. I'm gonna put the Bobobo.
Oh my
cover.
god, that was totally it, wasn't it? That was totally it.
That could be
It's like
it.
they'll never know. My
Yeah.
mom will never know.
Mum
I have
will
to love
never
her.
know.
She just think it's Bobobo.
Some kids jacked off to your Bobobo Volume 1.
Time to throw that out.
Is this Junji Ito?
So that's Uzumaki.
Ah.
Yeah.
And this, I'd be surprised if you know it's Ichigo 100%.
Oh, it's Ichigo
I've
100.
heard of this.
I have not read it or watched it.
Okay.
Um,
So which one would you like to know first? Obviously, I think we can get rid of Berserk and JoJo because we already talked about that.
Already talked about that.
So Yu Yu Hakusho, not Hunter x Hunter?
Okay. I'm probably going to get destroyed.
Okay.
Okay.
Haven't read Hunter x Hunter yet.
Oh, I can't believe you haven't.
Wait.
I haven't done
Shut
that
the
before.
mate. You haven't
The
read,
reason
have
why-
you watched it?
Nope.
Okay, wait, I've watched it and it's amazing.
Yeah. The only reason why I
The
know
biggest Togashi sim hasn't read
I
Hunter
know
x Hunter.
so much about Hunter x Hunter just from outside information, but I haven't actually read it or watched it. I own all the volumes right now.
I think it's
sitting there waiting for a rainy day.
I think it's safe to say this. It's the best shonen anime.
I feel
a
like
lot of people say that.
I feel
the
like I've
best
been
show
lied
in
to
anime.
because the amount of times we talk about Hunter x Hunter and me and Connor have just like been talking about the Dark Continent.
we always meme like Netero getting hyped up.
I just always assumed that Joey was just like,
Literally all the information I know is because people around me don't stop talking about
That is
Hunter x
not
Hunter.
okay. You need to go watch it. What the fuck? Or read it. The anime's amazing.
I never said I read it or watched it.
I just assumed the anime man had watched Hunter x Hunter.
I feel like this has just been a game of Among Us now.
It
Like
is-
we
the fucking
we've exposed,
imposter.
yeah,
I
we've
should have known the guy
exposed
whose anime
imposter.
is in his name was the fucking imposter.
There's an imposter
Again,
among us
I
right
know
now.
so much about Hunter. I could probably like give you the outline of how it goes, but I don't know the
What are the
details.
names of the arcs?
I want to go back to every clip now
I
that
know,
we talked about.
I know, like Dark Continent arc, Chimera Ant arc, all of those, the Hunter exam arc, and all that. I know them again because I hear it from everybody.
You have to watch it.
What is this?
Again,
Okay.
I know
Okay.
I will love it.
Yeah.
Of course I will.
Yeah.
I fucking love Togashi stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Yu Hakusho, I fucking
Wait,
grew
so what's
up
holding
with.
you back? What's holding you back?
I don't know. It's just
No,
another
come
one of
on.
those shows I haven't started yet.
What I want to know is how we've just found out about this, despite the fact that we've talked about Hunter x Hunter so many times on the podcast.
Is this publicly known? Is this widely available information?
You've been a part of the conversation. I swear to God. I don't know. We're gonna have to rewind every clip where we talked about Hunter x Hunter.
I've said it on streams multiple times. I've never read or watched it.
I can't be there for the whole 3 hours, Joey. You know.
But yeah, again, I know so much about Hunter x Hunter, and I know I'm gonna like it. That's why I'm not in a rush to read it or watch it, because I know I'm gonna like it.
Me and Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, it's like of course it's like
we've just found Joey's Full Metal Alchemist.
It's Togashi.
It's right up your street there. Like it's.
I know, and again, I know it's gonna be good because I love Togashi. Yu Hakusho is fucking amazing. I don't know.
Don't read it. Watch the anime. The anime's better. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Because I've heard both sides of the argument.
Listen,
what's the other side of the argument?
The other side is that the manga is good because Togashi is good.
I mean that's so it's basically just like a preference in medium then, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'm probably gonna watch and read both, to be honest. It's just a matter of which one to do first.
Yeah, I mean Hunter x Hunter is just prime Madhouse, and Madhouse haven't been at the prime for a long time, I think.
Yeah, and the manga also looks like napkin drawings a lot of the time.
Not in the
beginning, and the volumes are fixed as well.
So they fix it.
Yeah, in the Shonen Jump volumes, the magazines, it looks like shit.
Oh,
but then he redraws it for the actual volumes.
I finished the anime and then carried on reading, and I was like, am I reading one webcomic right now? Like, what is this?
It was about that drawing style,
honestly,
wasn't
it's wow.
But then he takes the time to actually redraw everything properly for the actual book. So the books look fucking amazing.
That makes sense, but also kind of sad if you're a big Hunter x Hunter fan who waits and then you have to go back and read it. But
yeah, if you read it weekly, then you're probably it's not
read it weekly, Lamau.
Yeah, when it was serializing weekly.
Yeah, read it weekly.
So that's your favorite Shonen Jump title of all time.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. A lot of these are Shonen Jump.
Yeah, so
I kind of realized that. What's Black Cat doing?
Yu Hakusho, Black Cat, Slam Dunk, Ichigo 100%, JoJo. It's all Jump.
Oh yeah.
I wanna let's talk about Yu Hakusho because I've never watched it. I think I mentioned on the podcast one time I tried to start it and then I just couldn't stand the audio on the I don't know if it was
so you watched the anime.
I watched 5 minutes. And I was like, I can't take this.
So Yu Hakusho, it does what I like to call a reborn. Basically, it starts off as a comedy, ends up as an action.
Right.
So same thing with Dragon Ball, right? Like Dragon Ball started off as a comedy, and then Z came along and it became the action that it's known for. Yu Hakusho, the first couple of arcs, like when Yusuke, the main character, dies, it's kind of like a slice of life.
Starts, right?
Yeah,
it's not a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. Literally, first panel, Yusuke, our main character, gets hit by a car and dies.
Yeah.
Right.
This was before Isekai was a thing.
Yeah.
He didn't go to another world. He just died.
He just died. Became a ghost.
I know a lot about Yu Hakusho without ever watching it.
Yeah, right.
I know I know the bad guy. I know there's an epic fight with one guy, and I know who it is, and then
because you know the tournament arc, right?
I know the tournament arc.
He literally just described literally every shonen anime of all time. I know the bad guy. I know there's an epic fight with the bad guy.
I know what the bad guy...
You literally could have fucking described JoJo.
I know what he looks like. I know who it's going to be.
He's the Giga Chad, right?
What's his name?
I don't know. Giga Chad. Giga Chad.
It's Toguro.
Toguro, that's it.
I don't think he's even the best villain of Yu Hakusho.
He looks like the... if you watch Fairy Odd Parents...
Crimson Chin.
He looks like have you watched Fairy Odd Parents?
Oh, the buff fairy, right?
Yeah, he looks like the buff fairy from Fairy Odd Parents.
I've not seen Fairy Odd Parents.
Let me pull it up. All right.
That's like Toguro 0% looks like the buff fairy from Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh my god.
He looks spot. Every time I see the bad guy from Yu Hakusho, I just see that guy.
Really gonna do my boy Takura like that, man?
Because he has the muscles, but the weird neck.
Yeah.
And it's literally like the Fairy Odd Parents.
I can't believe you do
He looks exactly like that.
Oh my god.
Look,
you've literally just ruined one of the,
put up the picture of the villain
best
as well.
villains in all of shonen anime.
I can't believe Togashi copied off Fairly Odd Parents.
I can't believe they did him dirty like that. I can't believe Nickelodeon got plagiarized.
Oh my god.
It's the same. It looks the same.
Good old Toguro.
All right, so have you ever seen the anime of Yu Hakusho?
I have.
All of it?
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Not a fan?
Is it?
It's I don't know. It's bittersweet, right? Because it's like same thing with Black Cat, where it's like I love the manga so much that like it wasn't like the perfect adaptation that I wanted. Like it was good, but it's like I'd rather just reread the manga.
What was missing to make it the perfect adaptation? As someone who's like, I haven't read the manga of Yu Yu Hakusho, I've only seen the anime.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, did you like the anime?
I fucking love the anime.
Well, then you'd fucking love the manga even more, probably.
Okay, but like, is there anything I can get from the manga that I couldn't have already gotten from the anime, or just rewatch the anime? Because I thought the anime was like a really good adaptation, especially for its time.
Like Records of Ragnarok.
No, it's better than that.
That's solid animation, you know? I mean, I don't know. Like, I think this might just be like the whole thing with like how manga art styles I feel age better than animation in a lot of aspects.
Yeah,
in my eyes,
Slayer begs to differ.
You think so?
Demon Slayer in the manga just looks terrible compared to the anime.
Well, I mean, that's because like the animation, the character designs change differently, right? But like in the anime adaptation of Yu Yu Hakusho, they did a pretty good job of like readapting like Togashi's art style, I feel.
I haven't read it, but from what I've just seen of it, it looks one-to-one to me. I don't know if
think
that's
so?
just a glance. That's like a person who's
I don't know. I feel
glanced at both.
I sometimes look at clips of the anime of Yu Yu Hakusho and I'm like, something about this hasn't aged as well.
But I mean, like 80s, what was it, 90s? 90s?
Yeah, it's 90s.
Like the 90s animation is some of it hasn't aged very well because it was like,
yeah.
It was
I mean, some of it's
right?
like very janky limited animation. This is like a 90s anime. But like they still had like during the big fights, there are still like those Sakuga moments.
Absolutely.
Like those have aged wonderfully.
I mean, I honestly think at this point it's just like a personal preference to me. Like the same thing with Slam Dunk, right? It's like Slam Dunk for me, like I watched the anime as well.
Okay.
Fucking banger of an anime. But it's like I just personally prefer the manga, to be honest.
I actually have like huge problems with the Slam Dunk anime. I think that's aged horrible.
I've heard the Slam Dunk anime isn't very good.
And that's because
might be a nostalgia factor too.
Yeah, it probably is nostalgia factor because I watched it in university and I was just like, man, this is a really slow sports anime. My fucking god! And they literally like take 10 episodes.
It's like 120 episodes.
I do think sports anime, sports shows, sports properties in general, almost better in manga normally. Like I just because of pacing.
Yeah,
I think that's true. Like 10 years ago or 20 years ago now.
Yeah, you think now?
Because like Slam Dunk, Eyeshield, I would like recommend the manga
100%.
way over.
Yeah, I watched
the
an
anime
episode of
because
Eyeshield.
I mean that's why for me like both Slam Dunk and Yu Yu Hakusho are in my manga 3x3, not my anime 3x3.
Yeah.
Like I much prefer the manga of this.
Yeah, because like I feel like old sports anime, they had horrible pacing, but like shows like Haikyuu, Kuroko.
Actually, Yowamushi Pedal I really enjoyed.
Yeah, Yowamushi Pedal. Like they I think within the past like new generation of sports anime, they've really fixed their pacing issues to the point where if a match lasts more than 3 episodes, then it's like a super important match. Like have you seen Haikyuu?
I've watched the first 2 seasons.
Okay, so season 3 is like one single match. It's like 10
I've
episodes.
Heard that,
And when I saw that, I was like, here we fucking go again. another like Dragon Ball Z-esque fight scene in a sports anime. But like that match was so fucking intense that it needed 10 episodes, and it was justified. It was not stretched out at all. At all. And that was like to me like the highlight of Haikyuu so far of the anime.
I enjoyed Kuroko no Basket. I enjoyed the pacing on that, even if
because
it was quite fast, really.
Yeah, I think it was like actually good pacing because it was like never more than 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Because how many times I can only be invested in one match for like so long, you know. There's only so much that can happen in a single match. Kuroko
was really good at building up the bullshit, I think.
Yeah.
They were like,
what do you mean?
You know, they weren't rushing too much into like the powers.
Yeah.
Like, they were pretty sparingly adding them in, I felt. And then I didn't watch the movie, but everything else.
The movie was there.
Everything past the main run of the, what is it? 3 seasons? 2 seasons?
3 seasons.
3.
Yeah.
3. After how many is that? 50 episodes?
Something like that, I guess.
Over 50 episodes, yeah.
It's where they beat does it end? It doesn't matter. But the point was that I found that after like that, I was like not really invested anymore.
It's such a shame for me because like I didn't watch all of Kuroko, like, but from what I did see, I really enjoyed it. But it sucks because for me now, Slam Dunk is just like forever just ruined basketball anime.
I wonder if I will read Slam Dunk and I'll feel like I can't enjoy this, Kuroko's better, or if I'll feel that like
there's definitely been both cases. So like I've recommended Slam Dunk to people who first read Kuroko.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's not as good because they're just used to the Kuroko format. Because like, unlike Kuroko, Slam Dunk doesn't have any like superpowers. It is like
it's just very
bare
realistic.
bones raw.
So it's like
NBA
Jam versus NBA 2K.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah.
Like it kind of like takes the fact that it is probably one of the most realistic adaptations of sports in manga.
Yeah. But it still makes it just as exciting.
But it does it in the most like cinematic, like fuck yeah type of way. Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, in the case of Slam Dunk, like, when that first came out in Japan, it created a fucking cultural phenomenon.
Well, every time I have an old taxi man here and he asks me if I like anime or whatever, I'll be like, yeah, I like anime. And then he's like, oh, do you like Slam Dunk? They always ask me. Yeah. They're in the, like, 40s plus. They always ask me if I like Slam Dunk.
Yeah, it was like a cultural phenomenon here in Japan, wasn't it, when it came out?
I think the year that it came out, I think I read something like, of all, like, middle schools and high schools in Japan, the attendance of basketball clubs raised by 600%.
Well, basketball is a huge sport in Japan as well.
Yeah, but it got big because of Slam Dunk. Yeah. I mean, it was that good. I mean, in my opinion, Slam Dunk, the final chapter of Slam Dunk is still one of the most beautiful chapters in all of manga, in my opinion.
I mean, he had balls to just put zero dialogue.
Yeah, the entire last chapter has zero dialogue. Yeah.
I'll get that one.
And it just stands. And it is the most cinematic final chapter of manga ever, in my opinion. But I mean, like, so I mean, obviously that's great.
So Black Cat.
All right, so Black Cat for me. Okay, so you know how my character, like my avatar on YouTube, has that cat mask?
Yeah.
Oh, so that came from Black Cat?
That came from Black Cat.
Oh my god, okay.
So Yabuki Kento, who's the guy who made Black Cat, he has this thing in all of his manga. So he also illustrated To Lover as well.
Yeah.
And Jerry's favorite.
I mean, it is fucking good. But he has this like kind of Easter egg thing in all of his manga, where in every chapter of his manga, he puts this like little white cat in at least one panel of every chapter of his manga, just as like a little hidden Easter egg. And it's that cat face that I use as my mask. So like originally, like fucking way back when on like Newgrounds and shit like that was just my logo.
Oh.
And then and then it adapted into my current avatar. But like, I don't know, Black Cat was like, it's weird. It's definitely heavy nostalgia factor, but I think this was the first time I ever read a manga and I was like, wow, like, manga artists are fucking talented. It was the first time where I was actually wowed by a piece of artwork.
Do you want to explain what happens in it? I can try and explain, but I honestly can't remember anything.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while for me as well. Yeah. So like, you want to try and explain?
He's not a black cat.
No.
But that's like his code name?
Yeah.
He's an assassin, right?
He's an assassin.
Yeah.
He's number 13.
That's it.
And his name is Train.
He has two guns.
Train Hartnett.
Is it two guns?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Train Hartnett.
Train
Hartnett.
Hartnett.
Two guns? Two guns?
Yeah, he has two guns.
Two pistols.
Yeah.
And he shoots people.
And there's Sven and Eve, I believe, with the names.
Sven and Eve, okay.
I remember that this was the first, because when I just got into anime, that's the only thing I remember about it. This was the first show that I was like, yeah, you know what? Not every anime is above a 7. And this is the first show that I was like, I'm going to teach you a lesson. As an example to the other anime. You're a 5. You know what I mean? Like, I gave it a lower score than I would have just to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm fair.
Just to prove a point.
I give out fair scores. Yeah. So I give it a 5. I give it a 5 because I didn't.
I think I remember watching like a few episodes of Black Cat years ago, and it was just me. It was just that phase where you'd watch everything.
Yeah.
And then I was like, cool, guy in a black coat. He looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'll watch a few episodes, and it was just like, wow, I am
so what happens in it?
Extremely whelmed.
So Black Cat is like, he kind of, so Train, obviously he starts off as this like assassin, but then he escapes from the organization that he's part of. And he basically, the entire manga, he gets chased by the organization members to come back to the organization because he has like all the secrets or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, there's a dude in the organization, or I think who also left the organization, who is like, he's basically like the quintessential male yandere. Like, it's really, like, I remember the main bad guy is like, I don't know, I've never really heard of like a male yandere antagonist before in a manga.
Yeah.
Especially in a shonen manga.
I just realized out of context, you kind of sound like you're describing John Wick or something. It's like, and he left the organization and he's an assassin. He's an ex-assassin.
Yeah. He's just gold coins for everything. They killed his dog. They killed his black cat.
How dare they? How dare they?
No, he's on a mission to tear down the organization.
But yeah, basically, and then like Sven is the guy who like has like he's like an explosives expert, and then Eve is this she's like this test tube like experimental.
This is when every single manga had to have like a ragtag band of people who could
do
special things and have comedy.
Okay, so why is this in your 3x3? I'm so curious.
It's in my 3x3 because it was one of the first manga series. Okay, so when I was growing up reading manga, I obviously started off reading things like Doraemon and like, the Koro Koro comic magazine, which is more aimed towards kids under the age of 10 years old, right? Mm-hmm. Then when I got to around 10, 11 years old, I was like, oh, you know what? Doraemon, Koro Koro stuff, it's a bit too young for me.
I've got a big pee now.
I'm a big boy now. I'm about to enter middle school, right? I want to read some of this middle school
Gantz.
manga. Gantz. So I was like, I want to read this like Shonen Jump thing that I keep hearing all my Japanese friends talk about, right?
Yeah.
So at the time, I borrowed one of my friend's Shonen Jump magazines.
Yeah.
And I think that particular magazine, Black Cat was on the cover of it.
Okay.
Because Black Cat had every month and every week on Shonen Jump they have
change the cover.
They change the cover. Some chapters have colored pages and some of them are have center colors and stuff like that. And I think Black Cat had a front color chapter. And again, you go from Doraemon to this, right?
Yeah.
Like clearly this is gonna make you go, whoa, what the fuck is that? And so and I think honestly, I really enjoyed it. I mean, Yabuki Kentaro, I think, still makes some fucking godly character designs. I mean, the reason why Toloveru is so fucking infamous is because, the character designs fucking cute. He knows how to draw really just aesthetic-looking characters. And, Black Cat, I feel, was definitely when he was still kind of in his, younger times where, he hadn't quite refined his art. But near the end of Black Cat, his art just got better and better and better and better. And, I don't know. It's just it's nothing deep or anything or profounding in any way. It's just a really solid shonen manga.
Right, okay.
With really just intricate, nice art
Does
stuff.
it hold up today?
You know what? I haven't read it in quite a while.
Would you recommend it to someone to read now?
It's hard.
No?
It's really hard. Because I don't know, because I'm obviously looking at this show, because this show is very personally important to me.
Nostalgic goggles.
It's very nostalgic. I'm obviously looking at this with rose-tinted glasses. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe if you're a fan of Yabuki Kentaro stuff, if you liked, what you saw in Toloveru.
Okay.
And want that with action.
Does the story kind of wrap up? Does it have a good conclusion?
Yeah, it does actually. It has a really nice conclusion. And the final fight with the male yandere antagonist, who's a really fucking interesting character. And the powers and everything are super cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a really solid Shonen Jump manga that's very inoffensive, I feel.
I think this was the start of the time where I started to realize anime sometimes just don't have endings. And I was well, because I started off with Death Note, Code Geass, Full Metal Alchemist. I'm sick. These are great.
You spoiled yourself. You literally spoiled all of anime for yourself.
Yeah. No, I did not. I had a great time.
Because what I mean is that no other anime that just is a normal anime is just going to live up to those standards.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So then I started watching shows, and I'm like, wait, why didn't this end? Where's the ending? And this is how everyone else said the same desperation as me, because you whenever you type in the show, the first autofill is, when is season 3 coming out of this show?
Yeah.
And then there are no plans for season 3 of this show.
Literally, when you type in No Game No Life, you know what I mean?
That's Spice and Wolf.
Because everyone's like, wait, why would there not be a season 2? This was a popular show, right?
Yeah.
What? There's season 2 coming, right? Right?
Never happened.
And then this is when I started to realize, I'm like, oh, they're just not going to finish shows.
No.
They're just going to release shows.
They're just going to be like, we released it. We're not going to finish it. Fuck you. Go read the manga.
This is why sometimes I wish anime was produced by Americans, because that it would fucking end. It might not be good, but it's coming out.
I mean, that's why I feel like manga takes more of the same form as American TV shows, because some manga just go on for fucking ever, and you're just you know what? I don't know if I'm even invested to see this end anymore, right? There's
but then anime will make $1 billion, and they're like, no, I don't think we need another. No more seasons.
No, because sometimes an anime makes $1 billion, but then it's 1/100th of the entire story, and you're just how are they how are they ever going to adapt the entire story? It's going to take fucking 10 decades to do this, you know? Sure. And so there are some stories where I'm just I know I'm never going to see the end of the anime, and even manga form. I'm still waiting. Fucking Ippo. How long is Ippo going to go on for? Sure. Right? Jesus.
Baki.
Yeah, or Baki, right? And
Baki should go on forever.
Yeah, Baki should go on forever.
Baki should go on forever.
But speaking of Baki, obviously Baki's the fucking Itagaki Sensei's daughter.
Yeah.
Beastars, fucking amazing manga.
So that's the newest one that's on.
That's
here,
probably
right?
the newest one. After I finished reading Beastars, I was like, oh, that is so close to a modern masterpiece.
How come in
terms of manga?
How come Baki isn't on here?
Baki, I don't know. For me, Baki is one of those shows where it's like, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's fucking amazing. And it's so unique.
Yeah.
But I feel that it's like, there are some parts where it's just like, it's just a blur when you read it. You know what I mean? Where it's it's so long and there's so much shit that happens in it that is just so insane and ridiculous that you think of one fight scene and it blends in with about 10 other fight scenes.
It's just true. It's true. Fair enough.
Like part 2, for example, right, with the whole tournament arc.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, I can only remember maybe like 1 or 2 fights. I reread it the other
fights
day.
were kinda
There's like
underwhelming.
20 fights in the manga.
Yeah, in the anime, they only showed like 4.
Yeah, right?
But that's probably because most of them are kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, true.
A lot of the fight, even in the anime, there was only, they only showed like 6, and I was like, 3 of these
Like
are boring.
with Baki, you remember the most like notable, like meme-worthy, ridiculous type of scenes, right? Whereas with Beastars, for example, it was like just as like one cohesive story. It was just really fucking unique, really done well, and it's just
Has it concluded?
Yep, it ended.
Oh, when did it finish? Could have been too long ago.
About a year ago, I think.
So how many seasons of the anime do you think there should be if we were to adapt everything?
To adapt everything?
Yeah.
So we're at season 2 right now, which is I probably shouldn't say where we're up to in season 2, but that's probably about volume 7 or 8.
And how many volumes are there?
Over 20.
So well, to be fair, wasn't season 3 announced already?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'm sure Netflix wants to keep that coming, and I am very happy with that.
And it gets more and more interesting after that. Because
I'm hoping we finally get a fucking anime that finishes in anime form. We never fucking get it anymore.
I mean,
it's
we're
bullshit.
getting like the latest one I can think of that we're getting is Attack on Titan, and that's only like one of the most successful anime of all time.
So it takes the whole fucking world watching it for them to be like, maybe we could just finish this one. They're like, it's like at the studios are like, start new anime, finish old one, and they're like, oh, I like this. So like, no, stop, finish this one, finish this.
It's just like if an anime gets over 3 seasons, like because even if we get a season 2, that's just like getting the table scraps, right? You're like, oh my god, I can't believe I've got a season 2.
An OVA.
May I have some more?
May I have some more? And then for some reason, there's like fucking 4 seasons of Mahoka or something. Yeah. I'd like, well, what's going on?
There's a fucking spin-off of Mahoka. I'm like, nobody asked this.
There'll be like fucking 10 seasons of Saki, like playing Mahjong. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. Fuck off, is this doing well? You cannot tell me this deserves a second season and No Game, No Life doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck right off.
But so Beastars, so you think it's like up there as a modern classic now? Because I feel
think
like
so. The ending wasn't exactly like amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was just a solid ending.
If we get the full anime adaptation of the manga in the way that it's going right now, would it be considered a masterpiece?
Man, I personally would see it as like an easy like 9 out of 10 at least.
I can see that. If the anime keeps up the quality of its story, because I love season 1, but it felt like season 1 just felt like a kind of a setup season.
It's like the ending of Beastars is very much like the ending of Part 6, where it's like the people who love it, but the people who didn't like it were like, you know.
Yeah, I mean...
It's like a lot of people say that it's like kind of an anticlimactic ending, but I thought it was kind of fitting to how the entire story went. Because like the final part of Beastars, there's like this big fight that happens, obviously.
Of course. Right.
But and then from that big fight, it kind of suddenly winds down into just like regular stuff.
Okay.
And like to a lot of people, that was seen as anticlimactic.
Sometimes I like that though. I like a little breathing time to say goodbye.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I like to... All right, guys, just gonna read a few more chapters with you guys before you guys fuck off forever.
Yeah, because like what gets me sometimes is I know like there's always the hype around the last chapter, right? Because the last chapter you're saying goodbye to everything, and you know this is where this is, and people like try to put a conclusion in the last chapter. Whereas some of like my favorite manga is when that last chapter is just the climax is over, it's done, it's purely just an epilogue. And I feel like epilogues are so fucking underrated in so many anime and manga, because most of the time it's just like you get to the final episode, right? And half of this episode is the climax. So you got like 10 minutes to say goodbye to all these characters.
Give me a full episode. Give me a full episode.
Yeah, give me a full episode.
I hate the epilogues that are like, there's like 7 minutes left of the episode. It's like, are they gonna stick the landing? And then you know that it's a rushed epilogue when they start talking and the ending song plays.
Yeah, no. and it's not even an epilogue. It's just like a slideshow of just like here are the characters now.
Oh, here they go.
Here they go.
And then we have Ichigo 100%, which again for me is like another I wouldn't even. It's weird.
What's this about? I've
Please
heard
explain this.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ichigo 100% is just this really just super simple rom-com.
Okay.
Essentially, like you know how Shonen Jump every time, right? They replace harem rom-coms, right? Like once one harem rom-com ends, another one takes its place, kind of thing.
Okay.
Ichigo 100% was probably pretty much. Ichigo 100% was the one that, well, first of all, like it was like right at its prime when I started reading Shonen Jump. So again, big nostalgia factor. I'm gonna completely admit that. But second of all, to me, it is like the one manga series where there was no one clear winner. Like right up until the end. It was like all the girls are so liked through and through. Like people think quintessential quintuplets is like the ultimate like any one of these girls could win type of thing. It's like no, it's not. Ichigo 100% is because you start off with liking one girl, as you do with any harem rom-com, right?
Of course.
But Ichigo 100%, I don't know how the fuck Kawasta Mizuki did it, but she did it in a way where by the end of it, any one of them could win, but you don't know who. Like right up until the end. And it's just so simple, but so well done. And again, I really like Kawasta Mizuki's art style because, again, very different. It almost doesn't even
super
look...
90s.
Oh, yeah, I mean, because it is very 90s.
They all look like the Chobits robots.
Oh yeah, they do.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's around the
like,
same era.
It looks like the exact same character design as well.
Yeah, they look like they're like all robots.
And it's weird, right?
We are programmed to fall in love with you. Beep, 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 beep,
and
beep.
it's weird, right? Because it's like, to me, it's not even the best rom-com manga.
Oh, okay.
In my opinion.
What's
I
the
think
best?
So is this
best
a harem rom-com?
harem rom-com.
Well, we all know that Joey loves a good rom.
I like a good harem rom-com.
Joey loves a good
I love a good harem rom-com. Don't get me wrong. In my opinion, the best rom-com manga ever written is Eyes, which is also from Shonen Jump, which came before this one. So like this one basically replaced Eyes.
I've heard of it. That got an anime adaptation, didn't that?
In like early 2000s.
Yeah, it was like a very shit adaptation.
It wasn't a very.
It
good
was
adaptation.
forgettable.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
But yeah, it's done by the same guy who made Z-Man.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
and like all of those. He's done a lot of manga. But yeah, I don't know. Again, this was one of those shows that I think this show is the reason why I love harem rom-coms.
Okay, so did you watch the anime adaptation of this at all?
Was it an anime?
Yeah, there is. There is an anime adaptation. It's not good.
Oh.
Basically, every like...
Joey's like, there is an anime, just don't read it.
Just don't read it.
Just don't watch it.
Like basically, most of the shows on here have like very mediocre anime adaptations.
The
aside
only,
aside from
Beastars.
Aside from Beastars, and
Reality
I'd
can be
argue
whatever
Yu
I want
Hakusho,
it.
but that's just
Beastars.
me.
Yeah, probably Yu Hakusho and JoJo. Obviously.
Okay, JoJo.
Yeah.
Well, part 6 hasn't got adapted yet.
Hopefully,
it's coming.
Hopefully, it's good.
It's coming.
Hopefully.
Oh, it's going to
Oh
be good.
Lord,
Oh,
she coming.
Oh Lord, he coming.
Oh, you know it's going to be
Oh,
good.
Lord, she coming.
You know it's going to be good.
But yeah. And then we have Uzumaki.
Of course.
Junji
of
Ito.
course.
Honestly, anything from Junji Ito could have been in here. He's probably the reason why I love horror.
I mean,
manga.
I do think Uzumaki is like kind of like in terms of like a long form. I think it is his magnum opus.
I think so.
Some of my favorite works of Junji Ito isn't Uzumaki, but just his one shots actually.
Yeah.
I feel like Uzumaki is his like only long form work that I think is like the best.
Yeah, and again, like that's why I feel like I could have put anything in there. Like I also fucking love Tomie, which was his first one that he made, which is also brilliantly horrifying. Like if you love like your kind of body dysmorphia, macabre horror type of thing.
I do really want to read Junji Ito at some point.
Yeah.
It's one of the it's
a trip.
It's on the infinite list of I need to get around.
Well,
to
it's
that.
just like with Junji Ito, you don't even need to like be that invested in it because I think the best entry point for Junji Ito is just to read some of his one shots.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like there's only like a few genres that really work well with one shots, and horror is some of them because all he has to do is like he hits you with this like really weird fucking idea and then it just ends.
It's like he definitely like has taken a lot of inspiration from like classic Asian horror in the sense that the stories don't necessarily make sense, but at the end of it, you're somehow still invested and still terrified.
Yeah.
It's purely he purely just assaults you with all of these senses of just super disturbing shit. And then kind of just like, that's the end. How do you feel?
How do you feel?
How do you feel?
Take a seat.
Why are you here?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so obviously, I think it's no secret that I love Junji Ito stuff.
Yeah.
And then I guess we should talk about the Senna one. There's a reason why I put it in the sender because I still think to this day it's one of the greatest manga series ever made.
It's the one manga series that I know, like I'm building myself up to be ready for.
It's like I haven't watched the last season of BoJack Horseman. It's not because I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of not in the mindset where I want to be depressed.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, with your 3x3, right? You were talking about like the one that you enjoyed the most and the one you think is the best is different.
Yeah.
This is definitely that.
The one that you think is
I
the best.
did not enjoy reading Oyasumi Punpun at all.
Yeah, like you don't enjoy it, but you just can't stop. Like,
Yeah.
you have to,
but it's one of those. I know this even though I've never read it. It's one of those series or stories, from what I understand, that is just it hits you and it sticks with you, and it's like you read it once and it's just a part of you.
I just got like shit to do, you know. Like I'm gonna be sad for like a while, right?
Yeah.
And I got to deal with that.
I remember I binged this manga for the first time, and I finished reading it at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I just kind of, the moment I finished it, I just kind of closed it and just sat on my couch.
I know,
for
exactly.
Like 30
Dude, that's like me after every BoJack episode.
Yeah.
And then they're automatically playing the next one. Like, no. Give me a second.
Give me some time to recover.
Give me a minute, man. Just give me a minute. That was so depressing.
But I think the one thing that I really like about Oyasumi Punpun is the fact that it almost goes beyond manga. Like what Inio Sano did in Oyasumi Punpun is so like, we were talking about metaphors before, right? With Eyeshield 21 stuff like that.
Yeah.
The metaphors in Oyasumi Punpun are insane because literally, like, what kind of mangaka has the balls to turn their main character into a metaphor?
I think it's genius.
I think it's absolutely genius. So, to explain Oyasumi Punpun, for those of you who don't know, this is the main character. His name's Punpun. He's a bird character, and every other character in the manga is a human.
Yeah.
But all the human characters see Punpun as a human.
It's okay, so it's like how he sees himself is different from everyone
it's
else.
how he sees himself, but it's also how you as the reader see him
I see.
as well. So like throughout the manga, as he's so basically it's this manga where it follows the life of Punpun growing up. So he starts off as a kid, and he turns into a teenager, turns into an adult.
I don't like the sound of this.
Yeah.
I don't like
And
shows
he
where they
goes-
follow them growing up. I know it's gonna be fucked.
And it kind of very slowly yet steadily, it goes through every inch of his life.
Oh,
And
I don't like
there's
those.
a lot of things that happen to him and around him that are very fucked.
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So like, it starts off with him as a kid. He meets this girl, learns what falling in love is, right?
Yeah.
Learns the joys and the heartbreak of puberty. And then
I feel you, man.
And then that drags on with him. And then he has family problems. He has problems with his friends. He has problems with
Basically,
who he
just
is.
a broken life, you know.
It's a broken life.
Yeah.
And what's so brilliant about Oyasumi Punpun is that as obviously, like when he gets older, he gets bigger and taller, but still the bird.
Yeah.
But then there are certain points in the manga where his look completely changes. So there's one part in the manga where he just turns into a floating pyramid for about 2 chapters.
Okay.
And it's not really explained why it happens. But as you're reading
Metaphor.
it
You
in
understand.
context,
Yeah.
it represents something in him.
Okay.
And it's very
Okay.
and it's very literal in that
Okay.
sense.
I'll read it. How long is it? How many chapters?
7 volumes. I own
It's
all
hard.
of them.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
owned
so it's like
all of them for years. It's been sitting.
It's 12 volumes, I think.
Okay, well,
It's 120
Sounds
chapters.
like shit. Okay, so I own 7 of them.
well, no, I believe at least the translated volume.
Yeah, the Western volumes are a lot thicker.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're a lot thicker. So I own
At
like
least 13 volumes in Japan.
Is it
But it's
13
like
volumes?
120 something chapters.
Oh, so you could probably read it in one day?
You could easily read it in
Yeah.
one. I mean, I read it in one day.
like
Okay, I'll probably do
it's been sitting on my shelf I think for years. It's just been staring me, and I'm like I stare at it and I'm just like, it's today the day. It's today the
Just the
day.
thought
I
about-
read it. No.
Just the thought about reading
I'm
it, I
happy
hear like
today.
Guts theme in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, my very first experience with hearing about Oyasumi Punpun was actually like when I first started dating Sydney, and so this was back when I didn't know Sydney too well, and she gets really, really invested in stories, right? And stories. She's one of those people that truly gets invested and involved into a piece of fiction. So I'm just here sitting in my room, sitting in my office, doing like YouTube videos or whatever, and then I hear Sydney just like bawling. I mean, this is like I'd never seen her cry harder than this.
Yeah.
Like she was like beyond ugly crying,
Yeah.
It was like I came in and like my
Honey,
gut,
what's wrong?
my gut just sank because like I've only this is the kind of reaction you see when someone's family member has just died, And I'm just like I take a few deep breaths. I'm like, okay, I know we're gonna have to deal with something serious. Something's really fucked up, and I'm just like, honey, are you okay? What happened? And she just went, I just finished a manga. and I dead ass just went, what? What? And she's like, it's going on Oyasumi Punpun, and I'm just like, I am going back in my office now.
Here's some Kleenex. Clean this up.
But yeah, like
I mean, like I didn't like ugly sob at the end of Punpun, but I there were definitely moments throughout Punpun that I kind of just opened my eyes wide and I was like, holy shit. Like there were many times where I actually said to myself out loud, I was like, no.
Not like this.
Not like
yeah,
this.
not like this.
Not like this.
Come on.
And it's like, and again, it's like, it's the way that he can somehow fit this fucking bird character into a super realistic context of like very realistic setting with very realistic characters and give this bird the most human life possible is so insane to me. And the fact that he can just do it seamlessly, like, you know, obviously at first, if you're going into this blind, first couple of pages, you're like, what the fuck is this? what the fuck is this bird?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But you kind of like learn to grow with it. And again, like, you know, it's one of those things where like a lot of people say like, oh, he turned it into a bird so that you yourself can put yourself into Punpun's situation.
Sounds like.
Yeah, so that you're not fixated on one particular type of person, you know, when concerning looks and stuff like that. Like you can just imagine this as any human.
Yeah.
And it's just, and again, it's like Inio Asano literally just took all these like rudimentary concepts about manga and just went, throw out the window and just went, I'm just going to draw what I think is cool. And it's like, there's lots of like weird shit in it as well. But like, I mean, I've been trying to write a video about this manga for so long, but literally every time I reread it, first of all, I get destroyed for about a week. So I try not to do it. Yeah. But second of all, there's just so many subtle things in it that I keep picking up on that I didn't before. That just completely makes me change the way I view this manga. And it's just, it's insane. So like, again, probably the manga I enjoyed the least. But definitely one of the best. In my opinion.
That's what I assumed it was going to be, which is just like, I'm not reading this manga to enjoy it. I'm reading this manga because I know it's probably going to be one of the most like powerful pieces of media I've ever consumed. And that's like my assumption going into it.
And the final chapter made me cry like fucking crazy. I was like, fuck, man. It was brutal. But I don't know what else I can talk about.
Yeah, I mean,
I realized that, you know, even though I've read a lot of manga, you know what? At the end of the day, Shonen Jump's just kind of the king, to be honest.
I mean, it's kind of the king
like
for.
That's how it's always been.
You can't hate it.
Yeah. I mean, Shonen Jump just has a formula, and I don't know what that formula is, but they just keep.
It works.
They just keep pumping out bangers, not just bangers, like everything they pump out just seems to be like a global sensation. And even if it's not, it's going to have some kind of cult following behind it.
It's just kind of the ones that I remember the most for some reason.
Like fucking now, like I remember when the big three ended, or like, you know, Naruto, well, not the big three, but the era of the big three where Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. One Piece is obviously still going on, but everyone's just like, what's going to replace it? How can anything replace Naruto and Bleach? Those were like global sensations. Then My Hero came out and was just like, hold my beer. And then Demon Slayer came out and it was just like, hold my sword. And then like fucking now Jujutsu Kaisen, and now like Chainsaw Man's coming out, which is going to be a massive fucking hit. Like, where do they miss? When like
they don't.
Are they fucking aimbotting? Like, what's their secret? Like, what the fuck is going on?
They don't miss. No, legit. And it's like, you know, again, it's like, you know, you kind of get in that period of your manga reading life where you're just like, you know what? Maybe it's time to graduate from the shonen. You know, it's like, it's kind of formulaic. I want to try something new, so you go out, read some of the more obscure seinen manga, or like the shoujo, or the, you know, the josei manga, or, you know, some like weird gore or edgy type of shit. And it's like, there's lots of good ones, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, you're always going to go back to Shonen Jump. I don't know what it is. I remember I said that opinion on Twitter and I got a lot of shit for it. And I'm like, look,
I agree.
I'm just spitting the facts, man. There's a reason why it's still the greatest
They
selling.
hated him because he told the truth.
Exactly. So, I don't know. Is it normie?
I don't know. Is Berserk normie? I feel like Berserk is legendary.
I just seeing the fact that I'm more than half of these are Shonen Jump.
I will say this now. I've got Berserk on my 3x3 as well, and I was just like, can I justify not putting Berserk on my 3x3? And I just went through this mental gymnastic of just like, is there any manga that I could like feasibly put over Berserk? No. Like it's the GOAT for a reason, right?
It's one of a kind.
We can talk about it at the end, maybe.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about it.
But I honestly no trash taste here. You have a very solid list. Obviously, there's some that I haven't seen.
Seems well-rounded though.
Yeah, seems well-rounded.
Again, if I had to recommend to anyone who's never read any of these, obviously Berserk, please go read that.
Yeah.
Beastars, fucking fantastic. And if you can handle it, please read Oyasumi Punpun. Like, it will change your life.
I do want to read most of these.
Yeah. I mean, Slam Dunk as well is one of the greatest.
Yeah, I want to read Slam Dunk.
Fucking amazing. Yeah.
How many because like fuck, dude, Eyeshield 21 took me a long time. It's got a lot of
Slam
chapters.
Dunk's got 30 volumes.
It's going to take you some time. I mean, I'd say there's a lot of these.
But the payoff is insane.
All right.
If you like your sports manga, you kind of need to.
If you like sports manga, you got it.
I do.
Yeah.
This is the quintessential sports manga.
And that is Joey's taste. You can judge. I mean, we've had 2 very solid 3x3s now.
Let's see if we can keep up that momentum.
I'm kind of worried about mine now. I'm like, oh shit.
Actually, put up Gantz 3x3.
All right. Let's take a break and then.
Okay, yeah.
Can't like click manga version.
This episode is sponsored by Manscaped.
Do you have a problem maintaining your bush? If so, Manscaped is here to help you.
Thank God for Manscaped, because I sure do have a problem with my bush.
Luckily or unfortunately, Joey's bush is doing better than Australia right now, and thus he needs a Lawnmower 4.0, which is Manscaped's brand new lawnmower.
Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped TM by going to manscaped.com/trashtaste for 20% off and free shipping.
It's hot as hell right now, and you know what doesn't need to be moist? Your pubes.
These nuts.
And thanks to Manscaped, I don't have to worry about these nuts. Ready for an out-of-world experience, fellas? Well, look no further than the Performance Package 4.0. Damn, that's a lot of performance in a package.
Well, inside this package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all of your stuff in.
God damn! And you can get this in the US and Canada and the UK and across Europe, Australia, South Africa, and Singapore.
Anywhere in the world, you need your balls trimmed, Manscaped's got you.
The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor powered by a 360-degree rotary dual blade system.
So, if you want to protect these nuts, then go to manscaped.com/trashtaste for 20% off your order and free shipping.
That's 20% off plus free shipping by going to manscaped.com/trashtaste. If you also want to become a Sigma male, use Manscaped.
These nuts. Back to the episode. If you guys read Punpun, I'll read Hunter x Hunter.
All right, go on. Pull up my 3x3.
Pull up the 3x3. Let's see.
Some of these shouldn't be surprises at all.
Okay. Well, let's go through the.
It's a mix.
Wow.
Okay, so before we get into it, there are some that I feel like I would put in there if there wasn't already like an amazing anime adaptation of it.
Right.
Like, I really want to put Vinland Saga in there for for example, but I'm just like, well, I've also really enjoyed the anime. So
do you want to go through them?
Okay, so from going down from Great Teacher Onizuka, Kingdom, The Breaker, 20th Century Boys, Domestic Girlfriend, Love Hina, Berserk, Beck, and Psyren.
Psyren, really?
Yeah.
I was not expecting Psyren.
What is Breaker? Is it the Korean one?
That's the manhwa.
That's the manhwa. Yeah. To me, like Breaker, I'll start off with Breaker because that's the only one on there that is actually not actually a manga, but a manhwa. I feel like Breaker is that one. It's basically everything I wanted from a shonen anime that you could not get from Shonen Jump because it takes the kind of the Shonen Jump like battle manga formula and adds martial arts to it. And it's so rare to see something, to see a manga that just does martial arts well. And I've kind of realized if I'm looking for martial arts, because, you know, if you watch the film 3x3s, you'd know that I'm a huge fucking fan of kung fu movies and stuff like that. And it's just so hard to find that same vibe in manga.
Manhwa does martial arts. I mean, you know, God of High School as well, right?
Yeah. So you got like God of High School.
Because they don't really care about kung fu in Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
In a sense, almost.
Yeah, almost. But like Veritas is like the perfect balance between martial arts and superpowers because people are like still very human in here, and you know you can still take someone out with a gun, but they have enough power that they're kind of also superhuman as well, right? So it's kind of balanced in that way, and like it's got a very it's got a very standard story. It's about this guy who has 0 martial arts powers and 0 ki, as you know, which is the power system here. And he just meets this guy who he's beating up some street thugs, and turns out he's just like a fucking martial arts master or whatever.
Right.
And so to help teach this guy, or to help this guy basically like protect himself and not be bullied and all that, he gives him like this medicine, which is technically he gave it to him by accident. And ends up, this guy is just like obviously a secret genius in martial arts, and kind of like takes on the entire martial arts world.
Performance-enhancing drugs.
Of course.
Always say yes.
Of course.
Limitless.
Limitless. What if we could use 100% of our brain?
But like it's like
Sounds cooler.
But like in terms of like formula, it's a very, very standard formula. But like the art is fucking fantastic.
I mean, the cover looks amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know if
it's like so much more detailed than you see in a lot of just standard Shonen Jump manga, right? And what blows my mind is that this was like a weekly release, but the art quality is that of like a monthly release manga.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like One Punch Man, for example, is a monthly release, right? So you can see why it took the time to make it a monthly manga. This was released weekly, and it's not as good as One Punch Man in terms of art quality, but it's like way better than pretty much most standard Shonen Jump weekly manga.
Damn.
And it's like the action choreography and the action art is fucking insane. And it's just like pure fun. It's just pure, if you know what you're getting. This guy is like a weakling, okay? But the amount of times that he fucking does something badass unexpectedly is just like, it's just insane, and it keeps like the stakes keep rising and rising. And what I love as well is they've really built up. I really love the world building of just like the secret organization that's of like martial artists who like kind of rule the world. It's
like in real life.
Yeah, kind of like in real life kind of thing. It's got like the same kind of like vibe as the John Wick world, if you know what I mean.
I'm down for that. I love John Wick.
Obviously, the main protagonist isn't John Wick. It's someone who grows into someone who's going to be that skilled in that world.
Right.
But it's kind of got that same vibe in world building, and it's just I fucking love it, and not enough people talk about the Breaker.
I've definitely heard of the title because it's just one of those shows you hear when someone says, fucking amazing manhwa, right? Like, what was the other one? Solo Leveling, right? Is the
Solo
other
Leveling.
one that like I hear a lot of and that I really need to read.
I mean, Solo Leveling, I feel it's good, but I don't know why Solo Leveling works so well. It's basically just an isekai in disguise, but for some reason, it feels. I think it's mostly carried by the art. To be honest, the art's just fucking amazing.
Dude, manhwa art is like next level.
I don't know how they do it so consistently.
Literally every manhwa I've read has just been like, oh my god.
I really don't know how they do it so fucking consistently.
Yeah, it's insane.
And then what else do we want to talk about?
Kingdom? I haven't read Kingdom. I've been considering it.
I've read the first 5 volumes of Kingdom. Because I read it.
It's long, right?
Yeah, it's like 60 volumes.
It's like okay.
It's still going.
60?
It's still going.
Okay. I remember when I was like trying to get new manga to read, I was just like, fucking hell, this has 500 chapters. I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, right? And then I read the first 100 chapters in like 2 days, and I'm like, thank fucking god, this has 500 chapters. It was like one of those manga when I'm just like, I'm so glad that there is just like an infinite number of chapters.
It's not that I dread. It's that I dread that I literally can't do anything else. Like I can't watch anything. I can't read anything else.
I love that. I'm like, that's the feeling I'm constantly looking for, because I love the feeling of just being so absorbed into this manga or anime or something that I literally can't get on with my life unless I'm finishing this thing, because like that to me is like pure enjoyment, right? And Kingdom gave me that for like a good like month.
I only had time.
Finished a month.
I lost a month of my life, I think, and it was like the best month ever.
I only read like the first 5 volumes of it because I was like at a manga cafe, just like chilling, waiting for a friend or whatever, and I had to leave, and I was like, no, I'm not leaving. Yeah, I need to continue reading this. This is fucking insane. So to give a brief like sell of Kingdom.
Sell me on Kingdom.
So it's like when China was like fragmented into different kingdoms. you see what they did there.
The 3 kingdoms, right?
No, it was. I think this one has 7 kingdoms, right? And so it's the story of it's just an epic basically. It's the very definition of an epic, where it's just the story of so one like there's one farmer boy, Shin, who's the main character, and by complete chance he meets one of the future kings of the kingdom that he's living in, right? And throughout the entire history of China, no one's been able to unite all of the kingdoms. No one's been able to like take over everything and just unite everyone. And so it's very simple. It's just the basic story of the king growing up to be a king and uniting everyone. And it's the farm boy who grows up literally as a peasant. And it's his story of becoming the greatest general of China.
It's basically if you took the Golden Age arc of Berserk and just made it an epic.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds
Which is
good.
awesome because Golden Age arc was fucking awesome. Right?
I love the Golden Age.
Yeah. Like imagine the Golden Age arc, but the biggest selling point of Kingdom is the battles. Sorry.
This man's dying over here.
He can't contain his love for Kingdom.
It went down
He's
the wrong
choking
path.
up thinking about it.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Kingdom, okay? So I have never seen any other piece of media depict warfare in as much detail as I have Kingdom, right? Because there's only it's been 500 chapters, and one single battle can easily take up like 50 to 100 chapters.
How many?
Yeah.
It's like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Battle for Helm's Deep here?
Yeah. Literally, like, imagine...
But every battle.
Imagine if that was just every battle, right? But it's fucking... it's actually fucking insane. Go for it.
Are we close to finishing the story?
No.
We're about halfway.
Oh, for fuck's sake. See, that puts me off because I don't want to get into something where I'm going to be like 50 years old and I'm like, hey, son, my favorite manga is finishing soon. Kingdom.
Literally every One Piece fan.
Yeah, right.
But it's one of those manga where it's such a simple kind of it's simple and it's not, right, because obviously there's a lot of like politics involved. There's a lot of like intricacies into how they basically try to take over their kingdom, because there's I really can't condense it down into like whatever I'm going to say now.
It's an epic.
Yeah, it is an epic for a
it's
reason.
epic, all right.
But like it's because it's broken up into like different arcs. You can just read one arc and you can just like
stop.
It's
Take a
kind of
breather.
you can take a breather. Like I literally binged one arc, then binged another arc, and then binged another arc, because I'm just like I just want to see what happens at the end of this battle. And it depicts like I said, it depicts warfare in a better way than I've ever seen in any other manga. Because like you know how they like try to write smart characters in a lot of fiction, whereas to write a smart character, you have to make the other character dumb, right? Yeah. So there's been so many warfare kind of scenes where it's just like they introduce this like really smart general or something, and it's because he sees a strategy that the other general doesn't see, and it's like, to the reader, it's the most obvious fucking strategy of all time.
We're gonna go around the back.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
They'll never know if we flank them to the right.
Yeah, exactly. And with Kingdom, the reason it takes like about like 50 to 100 chapters per battle is because they're
playing 5D chess.
Like it's so incredible to see so many styles of generals battling against each other, because it is literally like watching two GMs play against each other. And no, I'm absolutely serious, because like you're turning the page and you're like both sides are making moves. Both sides are like taking pieces, they're taking rooks, they're taking bishops. It is kind of like watching a chess game, except it's because it's a battle. It's not just all about strategy. Sometimes you have people who fucking flip the board, and then there's nothing you can do about that just because they're too powerful. And then there's some people who knows that this guy is someone who is going to flip the board, and he takes that into account. And so the winner of the battle isn't the person who's like necessarily dumber. It's just the person who maybe thinks that extra half step ahead, and you really don't know until you turn like the final few pages of an arc how it's going to turn out.
The author must have like fucking binge read like The Art of War like 10 times.
Honestly,
because like
honestly, that's
I've only heard like the most insane battles.
I'd love this to be like, like in those reviews.
Yeah.
Like, Sun Tzu, 5 stars.
Yeah, like
copied my work.
Like without spoiling like some of the best moments of this manga. Like I think with this manga has an arc which is one of my favorite arcs of like all of manga, and that's because it's like it's an arc, without spoiling the exact plot points, it's an arc where you have like fucking 5-6 generals, all of them have like are playing 5D chess with each other, making moves against each other, and you're just like, holy fuck, I can't even keep up with the amount of strategies going on and the different pieces like that are being pushed around. It's absolutely fucking insane. It's so big brain that I really cannot explain.
Ever since I read those 5 volumes of Kingdom, I've been this close to just saying fuck it and just buying the rest of the volumes.
Is it published weekly? Okay, that's good. That's good.
It's published, but there's no way they're going to get to 500 chapters.
I've just given up hope on manga where they're like, okay, now we're publishing monthly. I'm like, all right, and I'm never going to read it because it's never going to finish.
Yeah, if you want to see like the brain expands meme of just reading something that is just like super smart without making it like seem pretentious or something.
Yeah, and the art is so cool.
I saw this. I think someone asked, I don't know who it was. It might have been George R. R. Martin. The question was like, if you're not smart, how do you write smart characters? If you're not smart yourself, how do you write a smart character? Yeah. Like legit. I'm just there. I remember they answered something, but even me, I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't know how you would. How would you? Because you wouldn't know what smart is because you're not smart. So,
it's like, I think this is smart.
Yeah, is this smart? Is this what smart people are like?
Yeah.
Or it's like,
ask your smart friend.
How do you write a smart character who's like 300 IQ when you're not 300 IQ?
Yeah. Yeah,
very good question.
I mean, what I would guess is that the author of this must have just studied so many like historic battles, because some of like the tactics and strategies that they come up with this is just like it's 300 IQ versus 302 IQ, and it's just like that extra 2 IQ that gives them the edge in battle.
It's the pawn that matters.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a good read.
I'm sold.
Yeah, it's fucking
fantastic. Another one to add to the fucking list.
If you want something that is just an incredible epic, read Kingdom.
Okay.
Great Teacher Onizuka is a classic. And
I've heard all about this. Never watched it.
It's weird. I've never read the manga for this. I've only watched the anime.
I've heard the anime is amazing though.
Yeah. The anime is amazing, but I've heard the manga is even better.
I think the anime is. I mean, it's good because the manga is fucking amazing, right? That's the only reason the anime is.
The recipe's so goddamn good, you can't mess up the dish.
Because okay, have you seen the anime?
I've seen the anime.
When do you think it came out?
What, the anime?
Yeah,
it was like late 80s, right?
It came out in the year 2000. I'm not joking.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
That was like a trap question. I felt the trap being set up when he asked that.
It feels like late 80s.
It feels like late 80s, like
early 90s.
It feels like late 80s, early 90s anime adaptation. Yeah. It came out in the 2000s. It came out after Cowboy Bebop.
I'm so
but because the anime adaptation, I wasn't
expecting to have an existential crisis of a GTO today.
So I mean, I think I've talked about GTO briefly before, but to give a brief synopsis of GTO, it's about this teacher who is a delinquent.
Oh, he great.
Oh, he great.
Oh, he a great teacher.
No. He's not a great teacher yet because he's just so his name is Onizuka and he's a delinquent who finds himself in a teaching job, right?
Let me guess. He's not a good teacher in the start, but he learns to love the kids and he wants to help the kids, so he becomes a good teacher along the way.
No, actually, he wants to be the greatest teacher in all of Japan. Hence the name, Great Teacher Onizuka. Wow. But he's given like a very problematic class, right? And he's not like the greatest teacher academically, and that's part of the point of this manga is that he doesn't teach academic lessons. He teaches life lessons. And I know it sounds. How do
I reach these kids?
He ain't book smart. He's street smart. But
this is how you wear a bag, kids. Make sure you sort it correctly.
Yeah, it's a manga that I think really affected me when I read this as like a teenager because, it is like a completely cheesy kind of setup, right? Because it's just it's a teacher who reforms a problematic classroom and teaches them life lessons and makes them appreciate life and stuff. And that's exactly it. It's probably the best feel-good manga I've ever read.
Japan loves those kinds of manga. There's another manga like that called Rookies. I don't know if you know that one.
I don't.
It's like if you took GTO but you made them play baseball. But it's like it's the exact same like feel good vibe. You have the delinquent teacher who like teaches a bunch of delinquents to like join a baseball team and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Exact same feel as GTO. It's like just as good.
It's just really it's also a comedy one, and I do like the comedy, but like what I really love is that it's not. It doesn't teach you so much cheesy life lessons, right? It so much just teaches you that you, especially growing up in Asian culture, it tries to teach you that, grades and like the school system isn't what defines you as a person. And I feel like a lot of people might need to like hear some of the things that this manga
especially
has to
in
say,
Japan.
especially in Japan and especially in Asian culture. And kind of the cherry on top is just how fucking goofy and at the same time badass Onizuka is. I fucking seeing the antics they put him through is just like everything is such a treat. Like one of my favorite scenes in the manga, which never got adapted to the anime, was like he was trying to teach this leader of like this gang to like try to attend school and take it fucking seriously and all that shit. And so this student leads him to like this underground like fight ring or something. I can't remember the exact setup, but he's just like, look, if I arm wrestle 100 of you and win, then you got to come to school. And it's just like, this is so fucking stupid, right? Because it's just like, how are you going to fucking arm wrestle 100 people? And then he beats one person. He beats two persons. He starts taking on 3 at a time, and like
three at a time.
Yeah. He starts taking on 3 at a time. It's a shonen manga, okay. Yeah. And it's just like it's the way that it just kind of builds up and like escalates is like hilarious and badass at the same time. And it's something where it's not 100% serious, but when it hits, it fucking hits. And it's a manga that can really, I wouldn't say change a person, but if you're looking for something that affects you in the opposite way of Punpun, where it's just like, wow.
It uses comedy to teach you, not depression.
Yeah, it still teaches you like very important life lessons, but you feel wholesome at the day. You don't want to cry.
Like genre of manga is so like beloved and known and quite, more common, especially to a Japanese audience. I feel it's slept on in the West.
Probably.
Like there are so many like good, like feel good, comedy centered, like delinquent life lesson type of manga that is out there, and they're all fucking great.
Yeah, because I feel like to do this type of manga or to do this type of story, it's so hard to just not be cheesy.
Yeah,
like, and I feel like GTO is that one manga when I'm just like you see this done in any other way and it would just be cheesy, but the way that they do it in this, just it
almost doesn't take itself seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Onizuka's like I think one of my favorite characters in manga for that reason. What do you want to go on next?
Can we talk about Psyren?
Okay.
Why is Psyren here?
What is Psyren? What the fuck is that?
Shonen Jump.
It's Shonen Jump. I'm surprised you've heard of Psyren.
I fucking love Psyren.
You love Psyren? Oh my fucking god!
That's why I was like, why is this here? Like,
because
what is Psyren?
It's one of those
Please explain the plot.
Underground Shonen Jump manga that like it didn't have very long runtime, did it?
It had like a good 100 chapters.
Did it?
It got cancelled.
That's right. Yeah, it did get cancelled.
Tell the plot.
I will tell you the plot. Okay, so there's going to be like a slight spoiler, but I feel like it's within the first 4 chapters, and I feel like it's a big twist that I feel is what got me hooked into this manga, right? So that's the main. I can't actually remember the character names because it's been so long since I've read it, but it's this main character, and I don't think there's anything too special about him at the beginning. He runs a service where he solves problems, right? That's got nothing to do with what happens, right? And so he sees this girl, looks like she looks like she's going through some issues or something. So he tries to help her, and in that process, he follows her, and then he gets transported with her to just this new place. He doesn't know where he is, right? He gets
isekai.
Yeah, he basically gets isekai,
so
right?
Goes to another world.
Yeah, kind of. He goes to another world.
Oh,
he goes to another world.
I see a theme here, Garnt.
Yeah, he goes to another world with this girl, right? And then they're just in this like barren wasteland, and then they get transported with a bunch of people, and it's kind of like the Gantz kind of theme where it's not as brutal because it's like Shonen Jump Gantz, so it's not got like massive gore, but like people just start dying left, right, and center, right? And for some reason, she has like a special psychic power that she uses to survive. So he kind of follows her, right? And so in like fighting through this kind of death game, kind of barren wasteland kind of thing, he like tries to figure out where the fuck he is, how he got there, and what the fuck's going on, right? And then it's like the big twist at the end of episode 4 is that he goes on top of this like building that's just been like laying like it's like what's the word I'm looking for?
Like abandoned or
not abandoned, but it's just like it's what's the word where it's just like it's been years since this building's been
overgrown,
dilapidated.
Yeah, it's this dilapidated building, right? And he goes on it, and then he sees Mount Fuji, right? And it's just he realizes that for some reason he's in Japan, he's in a city that is in complete ruins, and the apocalypse has happened. And so he doesn't know how he got there or where he is.
That's right.
Or should I say it? Okay, I'm gonna say it. Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Or when he is. But
I mean, I guessed when you said that he's in Japan.
Yeah.
It's a time thing.
When you said it was dilapidated.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, well, that would signal the passage of time.
Yeah. So that I guess that spoils it. But yeah, I mean, so what I love about this is that it's a Shonen Jump action manga that has a mystery core, because the core of this is him going back to his own world or his own time and kind of figuring out what the fuck happened. How did it happen? And in that process, like that's all I'm going to say, because in that process there's so many twists and turns that come from that and him trying to figure out what's going on. And it was just nice to see like a Shonen Jump that has action in it, but also has this really mystery aspect that keeps you coming back and just keeps you like reading the next page just to figure out what happens. Because I feel like there's been Shonen Jump with a mystery aspect. For example, what's the one where they eat kids again?
Promised Neverland.
Promised Neverland. It's like been like Promised Neverland, and it's been like obviously.
I've never heard Promised Neverland be described as what's the one where they eat kids.
I mean, what am I wrong?
I don't know why I got it right away.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I mean, that
is what it is.
Right.
Yeah, that is what it is. That is what it is.
It's
like Shonen Jump.
It's not the one about the kids trying to escape. It's the one where the kids get eaten.
Come on. Don't fuck around.
Like I like the fact that it had a mystery aspect and also a battle shonen aspect, and I feel like it was so underground because nobody fucking read it.
I think the problem with Psyren is that it kind of came out at a time where Shonen Jump was just absolutely stacked, where like everything else in Shonen, because this was like mid 2000s Shonen Jump, right? Yeah. So this was not only in the midst of the big three, but also like the lesser known Shonen Jump stuff that was not the big three was still very, very popular.
So why did they get cancelled then?
Just because it wasn't popular enough.
Yeah,
I'm just like, and I feel like another thing is that unfortunately the art style just looks so generic because this came after Bleach.
It does look. The main character looks like Ichigo.
Yeah. It kind of looks so generic, but it has so many original ideas. Like I really like. I without spoiling what the main character's power is. So like anyone who goes to this world gets a special power of their own, right? And I like as an engineer, he has like a really unique power where I'm not going to spoil exactly what it is, but he can't control this power. Like he can't consciously control this power. So what he does to kind of figure out different ways to use his power is he makes subroutines for this power. So it's basically like he makes programming loops for this power to like follow a set algorithm to do exactly what he wants. And I'm just like, that's such a unique idea.
I'm like slowly remembering this manga and talk about it.
Men can type 2,000 words per minute.
But yeah, like I mean, I could have put like Hunter x Hunter or other Shonen Jump manga on here.
Yeah, it's nice to see some variation.
But yeah, like I said, every Shonen Jump manga I can think of putting on here has an anime adaptation. So that's the only reason why I put Psyren on here, because it is my favorite Shonen Jump manga that does not have an anime.
Yeah,
because it got cancelled because it wasn't popular enough.
Yeah, isn't it sad?
The other one I would put on there is did you ever read M0?
I did not read M0.
Okay, that's another one that was like kind of, it came out around the same time as Psyren, where Shonen Jump was just stacked. Never got an anime adaptation, but it's so good.
What's that about?
M0 is about, it's this kid who enters this magic school, but he himself has 0 magic abilities.
Yeah.
So this is literally like, think of like fucking My Hero Academia, right? But instead of quirks, it's magic power. And you have like certain levels of magic. And the higher your magic level is, the more powerful of like a magic card you get that can like activate magic skills. And the main character, again, he has 0 magic, so he gets an M0 card.
Oh, okay.
And it's just him basically just trying to basically survive and graduate the magic school. But like the art style is so unique, and it's such a dope, solid story. But again, it never got an anime adaptation, and like hardly anyone read it because again,
did it get cancelled?
Shonen Jump. No, it didn't get cancelled. It had a proper ending. It got like 12 volumes or something.
Oh.
And it had a proper ending. It just no one read it because during that time, Shonen Jump was so stacked with all these other insane shows.
Well, it's stacked now as well.
It's stacked now, but like mid 2000s Shonen Jump was like peak.
So you can recommend it even though it doesn't have an ending? Like, is it?
Oh no, it has an ending. It's just very rushed. But like,
they're like wrap it up. Come on.
I mean, Yu Hakusho was kind of the same as well.
Yeah, but like I feel like I can still recommend it because the mystery aspect got solved, and it got solved in a decent amount of time. What was like a bit unsatisfying was just each character's resolution because it got wrapped up so quickly. But the mystery aspect, which was the reason I was so addicted to it when reading, that gets wrapped up just fine, and that's why I can still recommend it.
So, what's Love Hina about?
Wait, have you not read or watched Love Hina?
No, I don't know.
Really?
I don't know anything about Love Hina.
Wow.
Love Hina. Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. This is nostalgia.
Look, Akamatsukin's fucking amazing.
Explain yourself. What is it about?
It's nothing you haven't heard before.
Yeah.
It's
a manga where a guy loves Hina.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's Hina.
Is it interesting?
No, that's Naru.
Oh, yeah.
That's Naru. And okay, so a guy moves into his grandma's onsen, right? Because his grandma owns an onsen. And it turns out it's also a girls' dormitory. And
hey!
Okay, it's a fucking harem anime, okay? It's a harem manga, okay?
Okay.
And how can I say this? It's
It's a classic, isn't it?
It's just a solid harem manga, and there's nothing I can do to convince you to watch it. I'm not gonna try and convince you to read it. Okay, I'm not here. This isn't for you, Connor. This is for me. This is for me, Connor.
I said it was.
This is Gantz Ichigo 100%.
Honestly, this was the very first manga I have ever read.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Out of everything, right? Because I remember watching. It was the first anime I ever watched. Because before that, I had this like
first anime.
No, sorry. It's the first anime.
I was gonna say this. This is the first anime you ever watched?
This was the first anime I watched where, before that, I had this massive complex against manga, right? Because I was like, no, because like...
I discriminated against manga.
Honestly, because I'm like, how can you get into black and white drawings? I'm sorry. This is disgusting. This is for peasants.
Western comics go through the trouble of coloring in.
Where's the movement?
Where's the color?
Exactly,
I'm just like, how am I supposed to get into this? And like, Love Hina was the first anime I watched where I'm just like, I want to see what happens.
I'll fight through the black and white.
I want to see what happens enough that I'll fucking read the manga.
She looks cute, but she looks like a Pokemon reject.
She's
I think every character in the 90s looked like a Pokemon
reject.
reject.
It's true because I think they all had like the same kind of character.
So
designs.
out of 10?
I mean, I've
just give me a fucking score, Garnt. What is it? Oh, fuck off. That stutter was a 5. That's everything I needed to know.
I think Love Hina to this day is like a solid 6 or 7.
I
think
it's
just a fun 6 or 7.
It's a fun manga.
If you like harem manga, which you don't, so okay, if you like harem manga, I still think Love Hina is a very, very solid harem manga.
It still stands up to its time.
Why do you love harem manga so much? Like, what about the harem speaks to you, Garnt?
I just like girls, eh?
I want all the girls.
Okay,
I want them fighting.
I'll break it down because this is going to be a really weird analogy. If there's a harem manga that I'm invested in, it's not specifically about, there's a bunch of girls. What I equate reading a harem manga to is kind of like watching a sports match, right? Because
I know you're gonna fucking say this.
Yeah, because
you pick your team and you root for them.
You pick your team and you get emotionally invested, right? And you pick your best girl and you fucking root for them and you stick through it through thick and thin. Yeah. And then
even if they don't win, they've won in your heart.
Yeah, even if they don't win, but if they do win,
it's like
it's such an emotion rush because like yes. You literally become a fucking sports fan.
I bet Garnt's never as happy as when his fucking harem
Honestly,
choice wins.
like part of the best part of harems, right, is watching it with the community. Because like half the fun is seeing a girl win, but also half the fun is shitting on the fans of the losing girl as well. Yeah. That's like equally as fun.
That's what I loved about Ichigo 100%. Because I read it with a bunch of my Japanese friends who were all just as invested, and they all had their own winners. And when my girl won, I was like, fuck you! I told you.
Joey had the biggest dick that week.
I did. I felt good. I felt good.
Okay. I mean,
so like, I still think it's a solid harem. I think one of the biggest differences to a lot of harems I met is that I do like the character development of the main guy. He starts off as obviously a fucking loser with no personality, but as the series goes on, he actually develops.
Why don't we ever get Chads as the main characters?
Because they wouldn't be interested.
Because then it would be a hentai.
Yeah.
Chads who become more.
That's the difference between
Chad.
Where's the space for growth if they're already a
Maybe
Chad?
they become more modest. Maybe they learn modesty.
No one wants to see that.
I want to see a man learn modesty.
He goes from like this brick shithouse brute.
It's just a guy who's too full of himself and just gets modest. I'd watch that. That'd be wholesome.
I'm sure that exists somewhere.
And I guess like the other classic on there, of course, is 20th Century
I
Boys.
thought you were going to say domestic.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say domestic girlfriend. I was about to like give you the backhand.
Well, no, while we're on shit, let's keep talking about domestic girlfriend. If we're talking about love here,
he's not going to stop talking.
Just give me. We've seen it on your channel.
Yeah.
We can go and
We've
watch
seen your video.
We can literally go and get the fountain of like non-existent youth from you on this thing where you just never age and you talk about this for 10 years.
I can continually talk about it.
I don't
forever.
want it. Give me a 5 minute. You get 5 minutes, Garnt.
Sell this to me because I watched 3 episodes and I immediately dropped
Domestic Girlfriend fucking awoke something in me, man. Like this single show basically dictated my hentai taste from like there's me before Domestic Girlfriend and there's me after Domestic Girlfriend.
Wait, if I'm correct, is it there's a guy and there's a teacher?
Yeah.
And a sister.
Okay. So
that's correct. Is that correct?
Okay, so let me break it down for you, okay? So there's this guy who's in love with his teacher, right? Yeah. And one day he just randomly goes up to a meetup and he meets another girl at a karaoke. What's it called in a
bar?
No, what's the event where a mixer. Thank you, Sydney. You know, so he goes to a mixer and he meets this girl. And this girl, for some reason, wants to lose her virginity because she just at the age where she just like, fuck it, I got nothing better to do.
Doesn't the anime literally open with them like?
Yeah,
after
the anime
sex?
literally opens with them just after sex, right? Yeah. And so he sleeps with this girl, and then who he's just met, and then they say goodbye. And then he goes home, and then he finds out that his dad's getting remarried, and then he meets the family that his dad's getting married to, and it turns out that the mother or his future mother-in-law, his future stepmother, she has 2 daughters. One is the girl he slept with, and the other is the teacher he's in love with. And that is the premise
where is
of
the
Domestic
incest
Girlfriend
sign when we need
this
it?
Is literally, this is incest, Garnt, and this is like what if we made all porn categories into one? This is what it sounds like.
Basically,
this is like combine every porn. Where are the laundry machines?
Okay.
Get 4 of them in this house.
Okay, so like I will fully admit that the concepts. I mean, yeah, this is a hentai plot. Okay, this is your kiss. This.
Let's be real.
It's better than Kiss.
It is.
People like when we did the anime 3x3. People were like, why is the Domestic Girlfriend anime not on there? It's because I actually read the manga. I think it's a good fucking manga, and I will defend it till the day I fucking die.
Would you say it's a masterpiece?
I would say, it's a masterpiece in my heart. Okay. No, because
I understand.
Because like, what happens is like
this. If masterpiece is short for masturbating piece, then yes.
But like, okay, what I love about this manga is that it takes the most like the situation is a complete car wreck, and it just turns to a car wreck, to a train wreck, to a fucking nuclear holocaust. Like the layers of how complicated the situation just get stacked on top of each other. But what offsets this is that it's actually a really well written manga. It's like a lot of
Hold
thought.
on, you're being very oxymoronic right now.
Okay. Because a lot of thought was really put into the characters. So the characters actually seem really realistic, and you can kind of like empathize with them, right? What you can't relate to is the fucking situation that they're in. So you put really,
I hope not.
You put actual like realistic characters or well-written characters into this really fucking trashy, wacky situation, and it's like a juxtaposition of just you're actually invested in these characters, but also the stuff that's happening is so wild that you just want to keep reading just to see what happens next. It's like a soap opera, but the characters are actually really like you're really, really invested in these characters.
I just couldn't get to that point with the anime, honestly.
No. So what's more of a battle, this or Kingdom? What's more of an epic battle?
It's two different battles, isn't it?
Which is the bigger battle?
I don't know which one's more five-head, man.
One of them is like you're physically getting hurt battle. The other is like chipping away at your brain. Yeah.
Okay, because like the anime is the really what the anime did is that it just took all the trashy moments in the manga without any of the character moments and just put them and just speed ran it.
So it made a bad porno.
Huh?
It made a bad porno.
Yeah, but it made a bad porno.
Okay.
I mean, what porno doesn't have character development? Well, how can I get invested?
Most of them.
A good one. We don't need it.
And I will keep talking about domestic.
I'm sure if you want to hear Garnt talk about it, just ask him in public, ask him anywhere. Ask him
watch the 17 videos he made on it.
I realized that I've made like a manga 3x3, hentai 3x3, sorry, a dojin 3x3.
This is all in.
And an anime 3x3, and all of them have incest in it. I just want to say for the record.
Where is the incest sign?
I just want to say for the record, I do not like incest.
You are very lucky that you're an only child. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, the incest would have destroyed you. If I put this many incest things in mine, everyone would be like, yo, Carl's got 3 brothers. Oh,
I've got a sister. Then I'd be fucked.
Look, all I'm saying is, at least I don't like stepmom porn because everyone has a mother. What, like, everyone has a mother? What's your excuse? What's your excuse, Connor, for mother knows breast?
Let's not get into that.
All right,
let's talk about 20th Century Boys.
Okay,
because that is actually a good manga.
Okay, this is my favorite manga of all time.
It's brilliant.
I've never read this. I've been wanting to read this. I've actually got it downloaded, ready to read.
Everything by Urasao
I can give you the manga volumes instead.
You have them with you?
Yeah, that's
in English.
Yeah, in English.
Oh, shit.
That's a much
what other
better
languages are going to read it in?
Thai? Well, the cover looks badass.
Yeah,
it's fucking amazing.
So 20th Century Boys is my favorite manga of all time, and I only read this just before moving to Japan. And it's kind of like the Oyasumi Punpun, where I knew I would love this for ages, and I held off reading it until I had just the right amount of time and the right mindset. And that just so happens when I had the few week break before I moved to Japan. And I was like, okay, I am now ready to experience
I am now ready for emotion.
And it lived up to everything and more. I knew it was like a magnum opus of a piece of work, and I still like it's amazing, but also it like every lesson and every message it tried to say like spoke to me personally as well. So it was kind of like a mixture of, personally, this was my kind of story, and also it's an amazing story.
This was the manga that made me go, wow, Urasao Naoki's a fucking genius.
Can you give me a very quick rundown of the plot?
Sure.
I don't really know anything about it.
It's a pretty convoluted plot, isn't it?
It's a very...
Just give me the most bare bones explanation.
Okay, so I'll try to sell you on this as quickly as possible. So imagine like when you're growing up as a kid, right? You play hero and villains, right? And so like you play a hero, and someone plays the hero and someone plays the villain. And normally a supervillain, they try to take over the world, right? It's a cartoony plot. They take over the world and the hero stops them. Now, what if you could make this very childish plot believable? That is basically what 20th Century Boys is, right?
That sounds cool.
It's someone who basically tries to take over the world, and Naoki Urasawa went, how can we actually make this actually seem realistic and feasible
and terrifying
as well? That's like the bare bones basic premise of this. What I love about this is that it's kind of like a mystery. So it doesn't open up with that premise. What it opens up with is this guy who's just a normal guy who stumbles upon a conspiracy, right? And so, of course, you stumble upon a conspiracy and you see how deep this conspiracy goes.
The Earth is flat.
Yeah, exactly. And the way the story unravels is that like you are given pieces just to how deep this conspiracy goes and how far it runs. And the more chapters you read, normally like you see a mystery and like you're able to like kind of get a feel of like how big this mystery is, right? What I find fucking amazing about 20th Century Boys is that I was like 5 to 10 volumes in or something like that, and it felt like I was staring into an abyss in terms of this mystery. Like this feeling where you just don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. Like you were just like, there's no way this can go deeper, and then something gets revealed and you're like, where does this end? How far does this go? Yeah. And like the way that, and that's what I find that incredible. There's been no other mystery that's just given me this feeling of just like, it was kind of like almost existential dread because I didn't know how far this sank or how deep this went. And it's probably like, it's my favorite manga of all time. I think it's my favorite mystery of all time.
Urasawa Naoki is just so amazing at writing these just mysteries where it's just like, you don't know where it's going. And also, I don't know about you, but Urasawa Naoki, I feel, is a genius at writing some of the most perfect antagonists in manga. I mean, he also did Monster.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. You should have said that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's the
same guy who wrote Monster.
Same guy who wrote Monster.
Yeah, I'm sold.
But like Monster is like way more character driven, and I think it's like much more smaller scale. This one is like a fucking massive
this
scale.
Fucking sucks. I've got so much to read now.
Yeah. And like this is never going to get an anime adaptation because like compared to Monster,
you got a live action.
This is I don't know.
Which did?
Yeah, it's shit.
It's shit. But I mean, compared to Monster, this would be like hundreds of episodes maybe because that's just how
Monster was like
70 something
episodes. This would easily be like 150, 200 episodes.
I'm down. Make it happen. Hina got over 148.
True.
Yeah. So I feel like it's the greatest manga I've ever read, and
it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything more than that? Can you give it higher praise than that? That's
it's my.
I guess I have to read it.
You have to read
fuck
it.
me.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It's my I can't even pick a favorite anime of all time, but the fact that I can pick a favorite manga of all time
is telling.
That's telling.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we got him.
We got him.
And it's not Domestic Girlfriend. Surprisingly.
Even though it's in the middle.
Thank fuck for that. I didn't put anything significant in my middle one. I just clicked.
I mean,
I should have.
It was the Oromo square. That's why I put it in the middle.
Yeah.
And you have, two more. Well, I guess one more. We'll talk about Berserk after. Beck.
The manga for Beck.
The manga for Beck.
I've only watched the anime.
You've only watched the anime?
I've only watched the anime.
Joey.
I know. Joey, my boy. Joey, my boy.
You would actually love the Beck manga.
I mean, dude, I fucking love the anime. And again, same thing. Everyone's saying the manga is even better.
The manga is even better.
Before you get your dicks out and start comparing them, walk me through the plot of Beck. I know nothing.
I mean, it's like it's a music anime, right?
Fuck off! It's not a music anime.
It is a music anime.
It's just music.
Yeah.
He just plays music.
He just joins a band and tries to get big.
Yeah. So it's
come on, fuck off.
I'm not even joking.
I'm not joking.
That's literally the plot of
What's
Beck.
good about it then?
It's just the journey.
It's completely character driven.
You looked at me dead in the eyes and just said, "It's the journey."
Well, it's just like
I don't know why.
It really is the journey.
Yeah.
It's the journey.
I mean, it is like it's what I love about Beck. I mean, it's a very simple story in that sense. It's a completely character-driven story where it's about a boy who joins a band and they're very underground. They're trying to make it big, and it's literally just their journey of making it big, right? And I mean, you've seen movies and fucking stories.
Star
like
is born.
Huh?
A Star is Born.
Yeah, and obviously there's
Sabrina.
Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana.
The best of both worlds.
Sorry.
Think about that, but just like better.
How dare you diss my Miley like that?
Is it just a good musical anime?
It is just the most.
Is it just relies on the characters? Is
it's very heavily reliant on the characters, but like the way the characters are written and just how they like play off each other and like all of the. I mean, it's very realistic. Which is already like a big plus for me, especially with like a character-driven story like that. But also, it's just like, I don't know. It's just a really good journey.
Do you think I'd enjoy it?
Do you like rock music?
I enjoy rock music.
I mean, it's if you are like, to me,
I felt like Mark Zuckerberg answering that question. Do you like human things? Yes, I like human things.
Initiate blink.
I kind of realized I asked the person who enjoys the beeps and the boops. Do you like rock music?
I do enjoy rock music, but I felt like the pressure was on for some reason. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I love about Beck is that it just captures the love for rock and good old old classic rock and roll and just like how rock has evolved through time as well.
So do they mention like all of like do they mention the fact like they play like a cover of the Beatles and shit?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Oh, okay. That's dope.
Wait, how does is it? Because I just thought about it for a second. I'm like, oh wait, surely you'd want to listen to the music, right?
Yeah. So
that's why I watched the anime.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
So
I figured, why would I watch?
I thought that as well, right? Because I was just like, shit, I kind of really want to know what happens, but I don't know if I can get invested in a fucking manga about music where I don't know if you know anything about manga, but you can't really hear anything that's going on in the manga.
That shit don't have audio.
Yeah. and then I realized I kind of realized a super life hack. When reading Beck, right? Because I also watched the anime. That's what got me into reading the manga.
I know you're gonna say.
And I realized that when they're playing in their concerts and it's hype, you can literally just play whatever song you fucking love, and you feel the fucking
Mega
emotion. Fucking brain expansion.
That sounds like a lot of work, I gotta go through my playlist.
Brain expansion.
I mean, like you can do it if you kind of like want to like really get invested and really like put yourself into this rock concert. But what's amazing about the manga is that it somehow captures the energy of a concert so fucking well. And like if you've ever been to a gig, and if you've ever like seen, sorry, man. Thank you, Connor. Thank you. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
So bored.
I sneeze when I'm bored.
Connor, when he listens to someone talking about music,
he's having like an allergic reaction to it. It's like music.
So someone like read musical sheets near me. So go on.
No, but if you've ever been to a gig, and especially like a rock concert, there's a certain like energy to seeing your favorite bands live. And I don't know how. The manga, which is a medium where you can't hear anything, it captures the energy so well that you can play the music of whatever your favorite band is, and you're just like, holy fuck, I'm feeling hyped. And the reason this is
conveying the feelings and the music necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. And the music is just like kind of like complementary to that as well. And like if you like the anime, Joey, then you're gonna fucking love the manga, because the manga takes the best parts of like the best scenes of what happens in the anime, and there are scenes in the manga that are like 5 times as hype as anything that happens in Grateful Sound.
I know what I'm buying next.
And
I guess we're sold.
Yeah, and like it's hard to sell Beck. If you haven't seen the anime, because if you haven't seen the anime, I think that's the best way to get into the manga, because it's like I said, it's a musical manga, and it might be a hard sell if you don't know if you don't know what you're getting into. But if you like rock, if you feel like good old rock and roll,
I still remember that scene in Beck that made me be like, hell yeah! It was like the scene where he does the cover of "I Got a Feeling" by the Beatles. That scene is like the most fucking like hell yes moment. It is so good.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
it's such a
it's just so steeped in rock culture that if you like that.
If you love music. There's a lot of people in Japan who just love fucking rock and roll. People are like, when you see a British, like, Sex Pistols. That's me.
That's a British band.
That's me.
Honestly, like they make so many references to like real life bands, which is something I also love as well. But like they say like, this person's inspired by Hendrix or Sex Pistols.
Yeah, there's another manga that does that.
JoJo.
Yeah, JoJo.
Exactly right.
that was the joke I was going to go for.
And of course, the only square that's been taken up by all 3 of our 3x3s, Berserk.
Rightfully deserved. Rightfully deserved.
Well, I think last time we spoke about it, I don't think I'd finished it on the podcast, had I?
No, you hadn't.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I finished it.
Yeah.
You caught up to it.
Yeah, I caught up. But I mean, you could tell it was nearly done.
Yeah.
It kind of had like its own somewhat conclusion. Around that point.
I mean, when I was reading it and I saw how many chapters I had left, a little sinking feeling was coming in my heart. But, I'm very sad because I felt like he was so close to the end. Like we were there. Like he was literally prepping.
Yeah.
He was in the prep phase.
I still think he had a lot.
I don't know, because he you know how before a big raid, you get some new armor, you get some new stuff, right? That's what was going on. And
there was definitely a prominent fight coming.
And I was like,
sure.
all right. We were gonna, and it was gearing up that it was like, all right, we're getting a big boy fight coming.
Yeah.
It might have been like 10 years away, but it was coming.
It was coming. It was on its way.
It was like, oh, she coming.
But like, yeah, I mean, do we need to explain the plot of Berserk? Do we?
I mean, it's just.
I guess we should a little bit, right? If you haven't read Berserk, there's probably people watching this who have not read Berserk.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was one of those people.
Would you like to explain the plot then?
There was a boy who was orphaned. He was thrown to the wayside in a pile of horrible fluids on the ground, and there was a woman who was like, "No, we must pick this up." And the mercenary band that was traveling with this woman was like, "No, let him die, let him die." But then somehow the woman convinces the men to let her pick the baby up and raise this child who is going to be Guts, our main character. And as you can tell, this upbringing is not the best. No. And many more horrible things happen to this child through his upbringing. But
so many horrible things.
So many gross things. Yeah. But the band of mercenaries also train him to be a warrior. And then, because he's had so many bad things happen to him during his childhood, he becomes kind of the lone gamer warrior that we all think is the coolest thing ever. Yeah. But,
the black swordsman.
Yeah, the black swordsman, right? The guy who can carry the big-ass sword.
Not
that can
Kirito.
Isn't that Kirito?
Not Kirito.
The one who can just beat everyone alone, right? Yeah. And he slowly realizes that's a bit of an empty life and wants to make friends. And then bad things happen. Very bad things happen. And bad things continue to happen. And it's about getting over those bad things and trying to learn to accept people and love again, I suppose, in certain ways.
It poses itself as this, like, big bad guy with a sword, fights monsters and bad dudes and tries to survive the world. But at the end of it, you realize, it's not about that.
No,
it's about his journey.
It's always about that.
It's always
about the journey.
It's about him. It's literally just like a manga about his life.
Yeah, and the cherry on top is just god tier art. The art is just insane. Yeah. Like it's just like,
no one can draw like Mira.
Yeah.
And if you haven't read it, I had not read it for a very long time.
Yeah.
I knew it was good, but I just didn't do it.
You didn't know how good it was.
I didn't know how good it was. I mean, I'd watched the anime and I thought, it's pretty good. It's good. This thing is pretty alright.
But wait, the 2016 anime?
No,
or the 90s anime.
Oh,
okay. I was about to fucking say.
That's what I was going to say.
We don't do that here.
We do not do that here.
We do not do that here. And I read it, and I'm saying, like, if you're sleeping on it or you've been putting it off, like, now is the time. Like, while it's still fresh in everyone's hearts. It's pay tribute to the king. Read it. It's amazing. You will not regret it. Like, it has, dare I say, a little something for everybody.
I mean, there's a reason why...
Whatever you want out of a manga, I guarantee you'll get something out of this.
There's a reason why it's been goated forever now.
Yeah.
It is not just like overhyped at all. It is just...
Rightfully deserved.
It is not overhyped. And I've thought of every possible reason I could to not put this on my 3x3 because it's just the one that goes
I think we all know that we were all going to put
everyone.
it in.
It's just like the manga that goes on everyone's 3x3, and I'm just like, can I be that person? Yes, Miura deserves it.
I've had many manga that I've had one or two chapters that I have been like, you know what, let's just kind of speed run this part. Let's get through it fast. I'd never, ever felt like that during Berserk.
No. Yeah.
Even though I'd seen the first arc, I still was like, fuck, this is good. Taking my time.
Exactly.
Like what I find incredible is that, people will look at Berserk, or people who have never read Berserk, they look at it and they see, muscly man with big sword go brr. That's kind of like what it looks like on the cover. But like what everyone who's read Berserk and the moments that stand out in Berserk and the parts that people remember are always like the quiet moments. It's the beautiful moments, and that's because there's the juxtaposition between like the fucked up shit that happens and the bloody and gory and amazing action that is in the manga. Like it's juxtaposed with some of like the most beautiful moments you can find in fiction.
Just the scene of Garnt standing in the field of flowers.
Yeah, just that whole like mini arc, if you will, was like one of my favorite moments reading it. Because I was just like, oh shit, they just took they were like, hold up, let's bring feels.
Because I feel like the story of Berserk speaks to just a core that so many people can relate to. To get fucking real for a second, like if you've ever felt lost in life, or you don't know what your purpose is, or you don't know
if it's worth it,
if you don't know if it's worth it or why you're fucking here, like if you're just ever having a bad day, like that's exactly what Guts goes through in Berserk. He may look like a big muscly man, but the journey that he goes through is exactly the same realization that a lot of us have gone through in our lives.
Under that hunk of muscle, there is a heart.
You can't chop your way through every problem.
Yeah.
That's what
He tries and he realizes no, he can't.
As much as we'd all love to be the overpowered MC, like at the end of the day, that's not going to help you solve every problem.
And
that's what shows you, I guess, in some ways, not to get too lost in the things that are right in front of you, right? Which is a lot about what Berserk is about.
Yeah, I think the scene that sold me on Berserk, if I can get into small spoilers of the Golden Age arc, it's like the scene after he beats the 100 men, because you think in warfare, one man takes on 100 men. That's fucking badass.
Yeah.
In any other anime, that would that's framed as holy fuck, this is an incredible feat, which it is.
Yeah.
And I remember it was just Guts' reaction. It was just realizing. Doesn't fucking mean anything.
Yeah.
And then also the aftermath of everyone coming in the forest. And seeing him just murdered 100 people.
They're
just disgusted. They're like, what the fuck?
How is this man alive?
What the fuck?
But that it's afterwards that he just realizes I'm doing this for no reason. I'm literally just killing 100 men and it just means nothing to me. And it's just
even right away. Even though I think I said this in the last episode, the last time we spoke about Berserk, I do think that I would have preferred the first part, which because they have a time skip. I would have preferred they've just put that in the right time. Right. Because I feel like it kind of...
and just start from Golden Age.
I think it would have been perfect to start from there, even though I'm sure people disagree with me. Because I feel like you get so many really cool experiences if you didn't know what was going to happen. And also just getting to see his childhood from the start would tell you all about how fucked up this thing is going to be.
Yeah.
I guess they needed a hook, right? To sell people
I think so. I think that's why. But I wonder if it was done again, would it be ordered differently? Looking back, I wonder. I don't know. That's obviously just pure speculation. Yeah. And I'm sure people would completely disagree with me, and that's fine. So that's opinions, right? That's
exactly. And I think especially what happened recently, Berserk's really changed my perspective on how I view media as well. Because I'm just something that's not finished can't be a masterpiece. And then I think about it, and I'm just Berserk is a pure example of something that has done more than fucking enough to be a masterpiece.
True.
An unfinished masterpiece is still a masterpiece, and I feel that's really changed my perspective on other shows which may maybe not have ended and may never end. And I'm just well, I think it's still done enough to be called a masterpiece. Yeah, and I think Berserk has really showed me that as well.
I agree.
Yeah,
read Berserk,
please, and listen to Guts' theme.
Even if you're not into dark fantasy, I think it's still.
I'm not into dark fantasy.
I still think it can be very much enjoyed. I love dark fantasy.
I mean, I guess there's nothing else to say. Really,
there's nothing else. That was all.
Hope you've had some new recommendations.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Garnt? Not bad. I mean, let's take into consideration this middle one.
Get that shit out of here.
Other than that, good choice. Good choice.
Anyone who's read Domestic Girlfriend knows that this shit slaps.
But let us know your 3x3s on the subreddit, because we'd love to see. Anyway. I need more.
I'm wondering how many people will have Berserk on there.
I'm saying, man.
Listen, it's
I want to see a 3x3 that doesn't have Berserk.
It's not normie to put Berserk in your 3x3.
It's not overrated. It's just that good.
It's like putting salt in my favorite condiments. It's of course. I mean, it needs to go on everything. What do you? I'm not. Come on, don't boo me. I'm right.
It's 3x3 of essential things. I put water. Water is overrated.
Water, really? Wow. You're really putting water in S tier? Wow. I think Fanta belongs in S tier, not water. But anyway. Please send us your 3x3s on the subreddit. Go and follow us on Twitter. And Joe, you can go and do the rest of this.
Okay. If you hey, let's talk about our patrons first of all.
Oh yeah, let's bring
them up on the screen right now.
I bet they have good taste in manga.
I'm sure they have good taste in manga.
But this guy right here has a great taste in manga.
I'm sure Grant Gaylord has great taste in manga. I love that boy.
Yeah, he has Domestic Girlfriend in his manga.
God.
I know he does.
But hey, if you'd like to support the show, then make sure to go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter. Send us your memes on the subreddit or your 3x3s on the subreddit. And if you hate our faces, listen to us on Spotify.
Cheers, gamers.
Yeah, I honestly, there weren't too many surprises this episode.
You know what? We went from trash today. We weren't trash taste. We were great taste.
Yeah. Gentleman taste.
Yeah, gentleman
taste. Refined taste.
We had refined taste.
What a nice episode with minimal arguing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next
I just feel like manga, there's so much less variation in taste because everyone knows what, like,
like good things.
If there's a good manga, like everyone can kind of agree it's a good manga. Yeah. No one reads like 200 chapters of something that they are not enjoying, you know?
True.
So yeah, that's been this episode of Good Taste.
I guess we'll see you guys soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.